Pack.
On a beautiful July evening here in CHO Airport Field, the Charlottesville Tom Sox and the Staunton Braves will do battle for second place in the Valley League South Division. Luke Stefanisco and Landon Weaver bringing you all the action here from Charlottesville. And Landon, this is a big one for the Tom Sox, who are trying to battle into a spot that would give them a bye in the Valley League playoffs later on this season. And with the way the season started for the Tom Sox, you find it very hard to believe they'd be right here in this moment.
Yeah, if 3 weeks ago you had told me that the Sox would be in contention for a bye in the postseason at the halfway point, I would call you crazy and walked out of the room, because they were 3-9 at one point, and now they're 12-12. They've been on an insane run these last 10 to 15 games, and they're looking to do it again against Staunton.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the lineup for the visiting team, the Staunton Braves today. Leading off for Staunton, Lincoln Pack, the left fielder, batting second. LT Cockrell, the designated hitter. Third, Wyatt Campbell, the first base. Fourth, Jacob Lester, the third baseman. 5-hole, Joey Little, the center fielder. Batting sixth, Ryan Fluharty, the right fielder. Seventh, shortstop Jackson Ingram. Eighth, catcher Ty Galuski. And the 9-hole, the second baseman Zach Pacheski. And Staunton and Charlottesville have played a lot this season. I believe 3 games total. One of the Sox more tenured opponents this season. And Sox hold a 1-2 record, falling both times to the Braves in Staunton this season. The Sox 1-0 at CHO Airport Field against the Braves. So we'll see how this one stacks up today. On the mound for the Tom Sox will be the lefty out of the University of North Carolina, Tim Lawson.
Yeah, the Sox are really going to look to even the season series against the Braves, and what a day it could be to even it. If they win today, they push themselves up to second place. And it's a beatable team. The Sox have showed that they can take them down. They beat them 8-2 here back early in the season at CHO Airport Field. Lost a close one to them in the first appearance away, and then they lost again. But there's no telling what this game could bring.
Well, Pack gets ready to dig into the batter's box.
Now batting number 5.
Lawson already on the mound, and Pack is in. Umpires are ready, and we will play baseball in Charlottesville tonight. Lawson gets his sign. The first pitch of the ball game is fouled away at 7:01 p.m. Tim Lawson on the year has pitched 5 games, started all of them for the Tom Sox. 12 innings in those 5 starts with a 7.5 ERA, but that doesn't tell the whole story of how Lawson has pitched this season as he delivers the 0-1 up high to Pack. He's had some very solid outings. I take you back to June 16th against Winchester, where he went 3 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, took the loss, but struck out 5 batters. He was phenomenal that day in a shutout loss to the Royals.
Yeah, he's going to need to recreate some of that today as another strike goes into the glove of Jesus Cesari.
So now a 1-2 count to the leadoff hitter, Lincoln Pack. Lawson shrugs off on the mound, now delivers the 1-2. Just misses on the outside corner. Catcher Brock Clayton tried to frame that one, but he won't get the call, and so now a even up count at 2-2. Lawson ready once more. The 2-2 pitch is tapped foul out of play down the right field line.
Pack on the season, not your typical leadoff batter, batting just 208 with only 16 hits to his name and 77 at-bats.
Lawson's 2-2 pitch once more fouled back off the screen. Lincoln Pack starting off the game with a solid at-bat for the Braves.
Kind of unorthodox that you see such a long first at-bat.
Lawson, extra move on the mound, the 2-2 pitch. This is outside with the heater, and the count will run full. So a full count now to Pack, and there's the 3-2 pitch. That one misses up high, so Pack works a walk and a very solid at-bat from the leadoff man for Staunton.
Now batting for the Braves, number 12.
So one thing that the Sox are going to have to limit today is walks. You don't want to let the Braves get on base early. We know that they have some good batters in that middle portion of the lineup that you'd like to get out earlier than not.
So that'll bring up the Delaware product, LT Cockrell, who has lit the world on fire for the Braves this season in 12 games, batting .356, has knocked in 11 runners. As Lawson delivers the first pitch, a swinging strike from the designated hitter. Cockrell on the year, 16 hits, 2 bombs for the 2-hole hitter for Staunton. As Lawson delivers the 0-1, this one swung on and missed once again. Lawson running up the velocity with the fastball and getting 2 swinging misses.
Yeah, a lot of his stats don't really come as a surprise if you look at what he did up in Delaware. In 42 games, he had 9 home runs, 49 hits, and batting .314. So he's not afraid to swing it.
0-2 to Cockrell, and he just fights that one off to stay alive in the count, and they'll stay 0-2. Sox have had to use a lot of bullpen arms over the past few days. Went through multiple of their bullpen arms yesterday in a victory over Covington. Lawson's quick pitch here to Cockrell goes up high. Luke Crater and Lane Duff were phenomenal. 6 scoreless innings for the Sox in relief of starter Evan Allwine, who left the game after an injury. Lawson checks over to first, fires the 1-2. That one dips inside with a breaking ball, nearly hits Cockrell, but manages to leap out of the way almost, and now it'll be a 2-2 count.
You mentioned Allwine going out of the game. The one thing that the Sox have had going for them in this 15-game stretch that they're on, as Cockrell foul tips that one, is consistency in the bullpen and being able to bring in pitchers that are able to close out games, pitchers that are able to withstand offensive dominance from other teams and able to knock it out. They've been doing really well and being very consistent, something that they were missing in those first 12 games.
13th pitch of the inning to Cockrell. This one is popped up. Shallow center field. Hargett coming on. He'll call off Gamster. He'll make the catch and straight away center for out number 1.
Cool, calm, and collected out there from Perry. There's a reason that he's out there in center field. You need your guys to be cool, calm, and collected.
So now this will bring up one of the most dangerous hitters in the Valley Baseball League in Wyatt Campbell. Campbell on the year tied for the lead in home runs. He's slugged 6 this season already. The runner on first. Lawson delivers the first pitch. That one inside gets away from Clayton. And Pack will advance to second on the pass ball.
It's not something you see a lot from Brock Clayton being at the catcher position. Balls don't normally get past him in his thick pads, but they did that time.
So now a runner in scoring position for Campbell, who can certainly knock him in. The 1-0 from Lawson. Loops just a little bit high above the strike zone for ball 2. So a good hitter's count for a very dangerous hitter in this Staunton lineup. Lawson's next offering is a tapper up high. Gamster fields it on a high hop, fires over to first. Nice scoop there from the new man, Elijah Williams. That'll be the second out of the inning, and a good job by Gamster to hold Pack from advancing to third on the throw.
Yeah, simple outfield play is what the Sox have also been doing lately. Just an easy play, or not an easy play really, from Gamster to Megan, and Williams in one of his first couple starts at first base being able to scoop that ball up off the ground. It's not easy.
So now 2 down with the 4-hole hitter Jacob Lester in the box for Staunton. Lawson delivers. This one just misses off the outside.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see Pack go. He's taking a huge lead at second base.
Lawson still working out of the stretch here. Takes a look back at Pack. Now comes to the plate. This one a strike with the fastball to even up the count 1-1.
In the last matchup, Lester was walked 3 times versus the Sox.
Lawson's 1-1 goes up high. So now a 2-1 count to Lester.
He's heading that way again soon, but he's not walked a whole lot. 9 walks on the season, but a third of them came against Charlottesville.
Batting .342 on the year is Lester. The next pitch from Lawson runs up high once more, and Well, a pitch away from another walk against the Tom Sox in this season. We'll see how Lawson can respond here on a 3-1 count. Lawson checks Pack. His next offering is a looping line drive into right field. Kyle Langley coming over on a run, and he makes a nice catch to retire the side. So Tim Lawson works around the leadoff walk and retires the Staunton Braves 3 batters after that leadoff walk. We'll take a break and be back with the bottom of the first here from Charlottesville. Tom Sox will get their first at-bats here in the bottom of the first in a key matchup against the Staunton Braves. Taking a look for the Braves on the mound, pitching for Staunton will be the right-hander Sam Greer. Greer played his college baseball at St. Joseph's University. The Pennsylvania native and rising sophomore gets the nod today for the Braves, his second start of the season for Staunton. He's pitched 12 1/3 innings to the tune of a 5.83 ERA with 15 strikeouts, 5 walks, and has allowed 8 runs in those 12 innings.
Yeah, and not horrible stats that he's put up for Staunton, but also not the greatest. It'll be interesting to see how he does and how he fares against the Tom Sox this time around.
Perry Hargett will greet him and lead it off for the Sox. Hargett's been a welcome addition to the Sox lineup since he arrived after the UNC loss in the Super Regional. He takes a first pitch fastball inside that nearly clips him for ball 1.
Yeah, batting just right around 250 with 8 runs and 8 hits, 3 RBIs. Still looking for his first homer.
He walked off Staunton with a sacrifice fly the last time these two teams saw each other earlier this week. It's now the 2-0 to Hargett. Once again inside, and
early mound meeting between the catcher Galuski and his pitcher Greer. Just trying to calm the nerves out there. The first 3 pitches are balls and nearly hitting Hargett on each of them.
Yeah, well, Hargett ahead 3-0, and I'd assume Randy Tomlin and Coach Joey Davis aren't going to exactly be itching for Hargett to take a big swing at the bat here on a 3-0 count to start the game.
That's not what the Sox really do in general. They play a pretty consistent small ball game.
As the 3-0 pitch goes right down the middle to get over, fastball from Greer for strike 1.
And it's really been working for them too. They find the little creases in the shallow right, shallow left, get themselves a bunch of singles.
That pitch misses, and so Hargett will work a leadoff walk. So both squads get leadoff walks to begin the ball game. We'll see if the Tom Sox can fare any better than the Braves did in the top of the first. That'll bring up the former UVA Cavalier in Jackson Soroy, committed to play at University of Maryland. First pitch to Soroy is a fastball right down the middle, and Greer's certainly happy to have found it there with his first pitch. So an 0-1 count to the 2-hole hitter Soroy. Hargett gets his lead off at first. Greer's going to try and pick him off, throw over, not in time. Hargett sliding back in head first safely. So the count will remain 0-1. Greer gets his sign, comes to the plate, Hargett goes. This one's tapped back up the middle, hit and run execution off the glove of the second baseman Paczewski and into center field. So Hargett creating some chaos, causes the error from Paczewski, and that'll help Soroy reach to put two men on base for the Sox.
Sometimes all you need is a little bit of luck. That looked like a routine play, maybe even could have been turned a double. Instead, you got two Sox on base and one in scoring position with no outs.
So now it'll bring up Preston Gamster. Found himself halfway from the cycle last night against Covington with the two hardest parts out of the way. Home run and a triple as he taps that one foul over towards the Braves dugout for strike one.
And was it not him that had the Little League homer not too long ago?
Yes, he did. It actually was yesterday a Little League homer. He gets a triple in the scorebook, but he did come around to score on that same exact play after a throwing error from the shortstop. Have a chance here with a runner in scoring position. The 0-1 to Gamster up high and tight. So it'll go for ball one. The count now 1-1 to Gamster.
You know, Gamster's got to be wondering, where is the moon going to set tonight? Will it be on the left side or the right side of second base?
Well, he says he might be the moon man. Can't really see the moon in the sky right now. The sun's still shining, but when it gets dark, Gamster might unlock a new side of his power as he takes that one for ball two.
I think he's a werewolf. Might be
I hope he's not a werewolf. 2-1 count to the three-hole hitter from TCU, Preston Gamster. Greer delivers to the plate. Gamster loops that one foul. Not very happy with himself, but still sporting that trademark smile he always does.
Yeah, one of the biggest bright spots on the team this year, not just with his play, but a morale booster of sorts.
So a 2-2 count, nobody out in the bottom of the first for the Sox. Hargett dancing around at second. Greer offers to the plate. Gamster taps that one back off the screen to stay alive.
I like Gamster's chances. The longer this at-bat goes on, he's finding his pitch, just can't connect on it quite yet.
Both teams forcing these pitchers to work in their at-bats and really drawing out their pitch counts early on in the first. Here's the 2-2 once more. Gamster takes a called strike three with a breaking pitch. Caught the inside corner for out number one.
That ball really had some nice curve on it as Gamster gives Nias some tips on what to expect from Sam Greer. Only one out, though. The Tom Sox are still in business.
So Nias will dig into the plate. And we'll see what he can do here with Hargett at second and Soroy at first. Hargett gets his lead a little jumpy at second. Greer comes to the plate. Nias takes a big hack at the first pitch fastball, but can't connect for strike one.
Nias, a guy that did not appear in college this season, was hit in the face by two balls before he could even step foot in the batter's box. But now he's getting his first look at collegiate at-bats here with the Tom Sox this summer. He's done pretty well.
Greer's going to throw back to second. That one nearly clips Hargett in the back, but it will be fielded by the second baseman, Paczewski, and no damage done.
Nias' only home run this year, a grand slam. That was quite the game in which he was able to do that.
Greer delivers to the plate, and this one tapped back once again by Nias for strike two. Over his last 10 games, Patrick Nias started 9 of the last 10 for the Tom Sox, batting .250. Over that time span, he's knocked in 3 RBIs. He has one standing at second right now, Perry Hargett. The 0-2, Hargett faked going, but the pitch is down low, and he stays alive with a 1-2 count.
Expect to see some sort of swing at this at-bat. Nias already down to his last strike.
Hargett's active over there at second, but he hasn't made the move towards third fully. Here's the 1-2. Nias fights that one off to stay alive.
Fans, turn
It'll be
any
a 1-2
retrieved
count
foul
once
balls
more.
into the concession stand for a prize.
So Greer gets his signs. And a 1-2 count in the bottom of the first. His pitch to Nias. Hargett goes. Pitches inside for a ball. The throw won't even go to third. So Hargett and Soroy both advance on the double steal. And now 2 runners in scoring position for Patrick Nias.
That makes Nias' job a lot easier, because he just has to hit one, really just a line drive anywhere, and he'll get a run home.
So Greer in a 2-2 count. His pitch to Nias is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Nias not a fan of that call. And it'll be 2 down now for the Sox here in the bottom of the first.
From Virginia Tech, Hudson Luderman.
Luderman, an RBI machine so far this season. 10 RBIs in 18 games. But it feels like any time the Sox need a run, he's there to put one in.
So a fresh count to a fresh batter in Hudson Luderman. Sam Greer's first pitch to Luderman was right back up the middle. A looper nearly hits Greer, fielded by the second baseman Pacheski on to first in time. And so Sam Greer works around the early offense from the Sox and gets out of the inning with no runs and no damage on the board for the Braves. 0-0 after 1 here from CHO Airport Field. Welcome back to the broadcast booth here at CHO Airport Field. And before we get going here with the top of the second, let's go over our keys to the game. Landon, you take it away.
Yeah, well, the Sox have already done my first key, which is start strong defensively. First inning, they didn't let in any runs, and now they look to keep that going as they weren't able to put anything on in the first. Next is keep going with the small ball. We saw this, or we saw an attempt of this earlier in the game with the Sox trying to put it into the crevices between first and second, third and short, and then just make simple plays. So far, we haven't seen any errors on the Sox side. We saw an error on the Staunton side, but the Sox, whenever they start making errors, it just seems like the games get out of hand whether they like it or not. And the less errors they make, the more wins they're going to have, more runs are going to come in. So I like to see that, and I think if they were able to do that, they'll have a good time tonight.
So my keys are to give your guy run support. Tim Lawson's had games where he hasn't had run support back behind him from the offense, especially in that 1-0 loss to Winchester where he took the loss. I'd like to see the offense get going today and give him some run support, the ability to make mistakes, but to still pitch pretty well as he has done this season. I want the Sox to be passive-aggressive on the base paths. We've seen them be really hyper-aggressive on the base paths, trying to stretch singles into extra base hits into even more bases on the base paths. So kind of being passive-aggressive with what they do, as well as limiting walks from the mound, as that's been a killer for the Sox in some of the big games, especially ones against Harrisonburg, the division leader, as Lawson delivers the first pitch of the inning to Joey Little for a check swinging strike, and strike number 1 of the at-bat.
Yeah, it's been a bit since we've seen a large inning where the Sox let in 4 or 5 walks. And we hope that those days are well behind us, but you never know in the Valley League. But as we said earlier, the pitching has gotten much more consistent, and a lot less of those innings have happened.
So an 0-2 count here to the 5-hole hitter, Joey Little. Little's only played in 6 games this year, but holds a .385 batting average. The 0-2 just misses off the outside. Home plate umpire Derek Topp didn't like that one and calls it a ball. Now Lawson will have to go again on the 1-2. His pitch fouled back, and Little fights to stay alive.
Another what is turning out to seem to be a longer at bat to start off the inning for Lawson.
The 1-2 once more to Little. And this one down and in. Brock Clayton just has to stick his glove down and scoop it. And now an even up 2-2 count.
Little played at Eastern Tennessee State last year, his first D1 appearances. Able to bat .320 as that ball sails for another ball. Just one home run, but 31 hits and 16 RBIs on the season.
Count runs full now between Lawson and Little. Here's the payoff pitch. This one fouled away.
Want to sponsor that
and
foul
Little stays
ball?
alive.
Visit TomSox.org/sponsorships to find out how today.
Both these pitchers haven't really been able to put away batters in these long counts. Had to use a couple extra pitches to get the job done. 3-2 once again. And this one down low and out for ball 4 in the second walk of the ball game for Tim Lawson. Puts Joey Little on first.
Now batting for the Braves.
Exact same way it started out this game. Lincoln Pack had a long at-bat against Tim Lawson, eventually was on by balls, and Little the same way. The Sox will look to get him out somehow and get the side out.
So now it's Ryan Fluharty, the righty. The first pitch from Lawson goes outside for ball 1. Fluharty from USC Upstate, rising junior from Burton, West Virginia. Batting .255 and 55 at-bats for the Braves this season. Another fastball here from Lawson goes outside, and Clayton takes a second to try and help Lawson relax before he throws the ball back in a 2-0 count. .2-0 pitch, clips the strike zone for strike 1. So now a 2-1 count to the right fielder, Fluharty.
Fluharty didn't play last time out against the Sox, but now he's back, and Lawson gets on the board against them.
Runner goes, this pitch fouled away
Foul
down the right field line and out of play.
Brookway Drive, Charlottesville.
Way for Tim Lawson to battle back in this count, down 2-0 early, and now back to 2-2.
Joey Little took off on the last pitch, 0 for 2 on stolen bases this season. Look to successfully steal a bag for the first time if he goes again here. He won't. 0-2-2 pitch. Way outside. Clayton has to corral it to prevent Little from advancing, and now 3-2 pitch. We might see Little in motion.
Yeah, Lawson just not able to consistently locate the zone just yet.
Full count pitch is up high for ball 4, and back-to-back walks for Tim Lawson puts a runner in scoring position now for Staunton.
Now batting the shortstop, Jackson.
No runs just yet, but yeah, already you see Randy Tomlin coming out for a jog to the mound, and I'm not surprised. Lawson with 3 walks already, and to walk your first 2 batters in an inning with no outs, it's not a pleasant sight for the head coach.
Well, for the Tom Sox, there's few better guys to be able to go out and give a pep talk or a mound visit than Coach Randy Tomlin, who has pitched at the highest level in the major leagues for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I think he's certainly more than qualified to be the guy to go out and have a discussion with the guy that's having a bit of a rough time on the mound.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You'd love to see a professional player coming back to the low-level ranks and helping out aspiring pros like he was at one point, and he knows what it's like to be in those shoes, and he's doing a great job.
Randy Tomlin's had immense success pitching for Liberty Christian Academy, or coaching for Liberty Christian Academy, as we have some motion in the Tom Sox bullpen, some pitchers getting loose. We'll see what decision Randy Tomlin will make if anything were to happen. Riley Rorty, one of the guys getting loose for Charlottesville. There's now 2 runners on for Staunton. Lawson gives a look to the runner. Batter squares. This one goes way back to the backstop, and both runners will advance. So sacrifice bunt not needed for Jackson Ingram. Now 2 runners in scoring position for him.
Yeah, as if to make matters worse, after having a talk from Randy Tomlin, you sail one over the catcher's glove. Just not the start that Tim Lawson would have wanted.
Ingram won't square now. And Lawson deals up high again. So a 2-0 count to the shortstop, Jackson Ingram.
A good majority of his balls are going high and or wide. Not a whole lot of low ones yet.
2-0 now from Lawson. This one just missed on the outside. So a 3-0 count. And you'd think to assume Ingram would be getting the take signal here from Staunton dugout. Lawson's pitch misses up high for ball 4. So the base is loaded now for Staunton, with the catcher Ty Galuski stepping into the box.
Now batting,
Yeah.
catcher Ty Galuski.
It looks like they're going to have Lawson try and work out of this jam, but loading the bases with no outs on the board is something a little scary for the Tom Sox.
So Galuski in the box with 3 ducks on the pond. And the first pitch is looped out to center field. Gamster's back, makes the catch. Runners won't tag, and a very good job by Lawson to get an out that won't allow a run to score. And 1 down now for Staunton with the 9-hole hitter Zach Pacheski at the dish.
Maybe all he needed was a little bit of pressure. You know, pressure makes diamonds.
Now batting the second baseman, Zach Pacheski.
Pressure's still on with only 1 out, and the base is loaded for Tim Lawson. Lawson's 0-0 offering to Pacheski, a nice breaking ball that Pacheski swings right over top for strike 1.
Pacheski, a guy that is batting just about as my computer decides to lag out real quick as I pull up the stats, but he's put in the 9-hole, but all these guys on Staunton are able to hit the ball fairly well.
Pacheski fouls that one, the Dallas, PA native, batting just a tick below 200 this season in 18 games for Staunton. He's been perfect on the bags this season, 7 stolen bases in 7 attempts. The 0-2 from Lawson, this fastball runs up high.
Yeah, batting, like you said, just a little below 200. No home runs to his name, but 8 RBIs and a really prime chance to bring some more in here.
Lawson delivers the 1-2. This one's flied out into foul territory and right. Gilliams is going out near the bullpen, but it'll drop in foul play. It'll be a harmless long foul ball for Pacheski.
Boy, you know, he didn't get there, but saw the wheels turn on Williams, and I haven't seen a guy run like that in a long time. I don't know if it was the way he was pumping them, but that guy can move out there in first base, and we may see a few of them caught over by the bullpen.
Yeah, he's certainly making an impression through the first 2 innings. Had that nice pick back in the first, and nearly made an incredible hustle play right there. Lawson's 1-2 offering once more. This one grounded down the third base line over towards the Staunton dugout area, and it'll get out of play.
Lawson's pitches look to be a bit more controlled now.
He's had to battle back with the bases loaded. And the 1-2 count for the third straight pitch to the 9-hole hitter Pacheski. This one goes up high. Lawson falls down on the mound. Lost his footing, but he's smiling it off as he collects the ball, and he'll get set for the 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, another thing to note is that we haven't even gone through an inning and 2/3, and Lawson's already almost at 50 pitches.
Lawson's 2-2. Misses off the outside corner. So a payoff pitch here in a full count. Could see a runner scored on a walk. Could see a strikeout. That's the beauty of baseball. Anything can happen. His full count pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Pacheski will go, but it won't matter as nobody is required to advance. That'll be a huge second out for Lawson. But it'll turn over the lineup to the top of the order, and Lincoln Packlet a chance to do battle with Lawson.
Tomlin stood up from the bullpen, or the dugout, I should say, as that pitch was coming in, as if a run did score, either whether it was a hit or by a walk, he was going to signal for Rorty to come into the game.
Lawson drops a breaking ball into the strike zone for the strike number 1. So an 0-1 count to the leadoff hitter, Pack. Next pitch is another beautiful breaking ball that dips into the zone for strike 2.
That one started out way wide, came in with some whip on it.
Lawson now looking to clean up the mess he made. The 0-2. This one goes to the backstop. Clayton has to get it. Runner comes to the plate, and Clayton can't make the throw. So a wild pitch brings home a run, and the Braves take the lead here in the top of the second, 1-0.
It really seemed like the momentum was swinging Lawson's way. He'd been dealing them in the zone and then just threw a wild one up in the above Clayton's glove.
1-2 now. Breaking ball low and inside for ball 2. Lawson looking to control the damage here. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball up high, and the count is full.
Well, on the bright side, if you walk somebody, it's not an automatic run. But Lawson will be looking to get out of this inning.
First base is open. Here's his full count pitch. This one's tapped to second, gloved by Soroy. On to first, and that one in time to end the inning. So the Braves load the bases with nobody out, but they can only muster 1 run on a wild pitch. Sox do trail 1-0 after 1.5 here from CHO Airport Field. Elijah Williams, Tom Sox debut on deck here. He'll lead it off for the Sox in the bottom of the second. The lefty from Valdosta, Georgia, who will play his college baseball at Flagler next season. Lit up the junior college level this season in 33 games, batted .344, slugged 4 homers on 32 hits. First pitch he'll see is a fastball on the outside corner for ball 1.
Yeah, really an interesting prospect is Williams, and he looks the part, and as you're talking about his JUCO abilities, he looks like he can really hit one far.
His 1-0 pitch fouled off the catcher Galuski, and so the count evened up at 1-1. 1-1 pitch to Williams, dips down below the zone. Galuski blocks it out in front of the plate, and it'll be a 2-1 count now to Williams. With a unique stance that Williams has, he'll see a 2-1 pitch from Greer is driven out to deep right center field. He flips the bat, and this one is caught. An absolutely phenomenal play by the center fielder, Joey Little, but he slammed into the fence.
Man alive, he put that He put his body on the line for that one, and Williams is in disbelief. He laid on the ground for a hot second. It really looked like that one shook him up. I mean, going into a metal fence, but he made the grab, and that was quite fantastic.
So it'll go down as an L8 for Elijah Williams, but some solid contact in his first Tom Sox at bat. And I'll turn it over to another hard-hitting Tom Sock in Brock Clayton.
The premature bat flip may have been the nail in the coffin for that play, but it almost was able to reach above that 365, and it won't be long until Williams hits one out of the park here in CHO after that.
Now batting for the Tom Sox,
So,
the catcher from Gulf Breeze,
Eric
Florida,
Top given some
Brock
time for
Clayton.
Joey Little to recollect himself as Clayton now steps into the box and will resume play. Sam Greer ready to deliver the first pitch to Brock Clayton. That's a breaking ball driven to second base, gloved by Pacheski on to Campbell at first. And one pitch, one out for Brock Clayton, and two down now for the Tom Sox in the bottom of the second.
Now batting, the designated hitter from Miami,
Clayton
Evan
just trying to
Tavares.
locate that seam between first and second. Unable to, but the Sox are getting close to hitting that gap.
So now it'll be Evan Tavares. Had himself a solid day yesterday at Covington, a 2 RBI single to really blow the lead open for the Sox. He takes a first pitch breaking ball down low for ball one. Tavares and Clayton, the duo doing the catching duties this season for the Sox. He takes another breaking ball for strike one. Often alternating days behind the backstop for the Tom Sox pitchers. Today he gets the day off fielding-wise, but he'll do some work at the plate. His 1-1 pitch swung on top of it for strike two.
Go ahead. Have a night, kid.
Sam Greer looking to finish his second scoreless inning of work. He delivers. This one's flied out to center field. Little going back just in front of the track. He pulls up and makes the catch. So some loud contact from the Tom Sox in the bottom of the second, but they can't get any base runners to show for it. 1-0 after two here at the CHO. Stay tuned for some more baseball from Charlottesville. Tim Lawson out for another inning of work here, the UNC man will go to work trying to hold the Braves to a 1-0 lead. Luke Stefanisco and Landon Weaver here in the press box at CHO Airport Field. We want to give a special thanks to Jeremy Rose and Isaac Fix for bringing us these brownies courtesy of Mission Barbecue. Landon, you've already digged into yours. What are you thinking?
Man, they didn't lie about this being one of the best brownies they've ever had. It's soft, you can taste the chocolate, and it's not too overwhelming. It's a little bit bitter, so I give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Well, I've had a lot of food reviews over the few recent broadcasts I've done as Lawson's first pitch goes into the dirt. I did some beaver nuggets at Harrisonburg, courtesy of Buc-ee's. Now, I did not get those for free. I had to pay for those, unfortunately. Not like the brownies from Mission Barbecue, but still were very delicious. Lawson's 1-0 pitch to the 2-hole hitter. LT Cockrell is another ball, only a 2-0 count.
We'll have to get your review on them later once we change hands, but...
Well, I can't figure out how to open it, Landon.
Oh.
That's the issue.
Well, I can help you with that.
As Lawson's next pitch misses inside for ball 3. Once again, thanks, Jeremy.
The packaging was a bit interesting. You know, you had to twist one part open and then another part was cinched.
So a 3-0 count for Lawson, trying to avoid his 4th walk of the ball game. Excuse me, 5th walk of the ball game, and it will happen. As
Now batting the first
Lawson
baseman,
allows another
White.
leadoff base runner. And that'll bring up Campbell with the runner on first.
And now you have your brownie packaging open.
Let's take a taste test. Just solid brownie. I'll be honest, a very solid brownie. Here's the first pitch from Lawson to Campbell, breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1.
I feel like you can't go wrong with brownies. It's very hard to.
It is. But you can burn them. You can put in too much of a certain ingredient and make them not taste as good. 1-0 to Campbell is a called strike on the outside corner. Just depends on who the chef is, or who the baker is, I should say, making the brownies sometimes.
I would for sure mess up brownies. For sure.
You saying you're not a good baker, Landon?
I like the ones with the detailed instructions on them because then I'm very good at following them. But if I'm just kind of going from scratch and not entirely sure of what I'm doing, there may be a fire in the Weaver household.
We would not like to see the Weaver household burned down. That would not be a good sight. Here's a 2-1 count, and the pitch to Campbell up high for ball 3. I've never been a big baker myself, Landon. I do enjoy brownies. I do enjoy cakes, but baking them is a completely separate story. It's not very easy for myself. 3-1 pitch. Lawson will check over to first. Williams tag, not in time.
Yeah, eating is a lot easier than baking, and it's a lot more enjoyable as well.
We'll give a shout out to my grandmother who makes some amazing cakes, amazing pies as well. Hope she's tuned in today to listen. The 3-1 pitch. This is outside, and so the 6th walk of the ball game for Tim Lawson. And now runners on first and second for Staunton.
Now batting the third baseman.
Looks like Randy,
Jacob
yep,
Lester.
yeah, he comes out now. Looks like we're going to see a change quite soon. You talk 6 walks in the game. You'd rather have 6 Ks, right? 6 walks is not something that you'd want to see, and especially when the Sox are already down 1-0, and yep, they've got a pitching change coming up right now.
So with that being said, we'll take a break and be back on the other side of this pitching change and eating break for myself and this brownie, folks. Stay tuned for some more baseball on the other side of this pitching change. that I've devoured half of my Mission Barbecue brownie, let's take a look at the pitching change for the Tom Sox. Riley Rorty comes into the ballgame for Charlottesville, making another appearance this year, his 6th. He started a game for the Sox this year, but has been moved to the bullpen as he's fallen out of the rotation. Last pitch on June 28th, where he went an inning, allowed a run with 2 hits, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. He'll look to navigate out of some trouble here with runners on first and second for the Braves and facing the 4-hole hitter, Jacob Lester. Rorty's first pitch way up high for ball 1.
Yeah, throughout the season, Rory just hasn't been able to bring his pitches down into the glove. A lot of times he's making Clayton or Tavares or even Jesus Cesari reach up and grab it or move to their side to get it.
1-0 count. Checks the runner at second, then delivers a pitch that is fouled back out of play and over our heads.
Still trying to bring that ERA down, pitching a 9.95 right now.
Rorty in the 1-1 count. Delivers to the cleanup hitter Lester. That one goes off the glove of Clayton into the backstop, and so both runners will advance.
This is eerily similar to the start of last inning, where Joey Little and Ryan Flaherty both got on base by walks, and so did Jackson Ingram. A pass ball allowed them all to move forward, including a run to score. And now we get a mound visit from Brock Clayton talking to Riley Rorty.
Home plate umpire Derek Topp went to check the mound area and the landing area of our pitchers. Not sure if there's any discrepancy there, but everything's cool and returned back to play. Jacob Lester flew out to end the first inning. Gets his second at-bat here in the third. This time he pops up right near the mound. Rorty is called off by Luderman, who makes the catch for out number 1.
Good heads-up play there by Rorty. He had his hat off. He was prepared to catch the fly ball, something you really don't see a lot from pitchers. Probably safe that Luderman called him off, as Luderman is obviously used to catching those fly balls.
So now Joey Little take his second plate appearance of the game, his first technical at-batter after he walked in the second. First pitch from Rorty misses inside, and the count now 1-0.
He looks to be moving around okay after that body slam he had into the, looked like the Carter Banks sign out in center field.
See the dirt on his back as Rorty delivers the 1-0 once more inside for ball 2. From the gravel and dirt out in the warning track, staining his arm sleeve and jersey. Rorty's 2-0 pitch. He's tapped down the third base line, but foul. That'll make it a 2-1 count to Little.
Yeah, Little walked in his first at bat.
Rorty gets his sign. 2-1 pitch in the top of the third. It's grounded to first. Williams gloves it. He'll take it himself. Cockrell advances to the plate from third. He'll score. And so the fielder's choice from Joey Little scores a run and makes this a 2-0 ball game. But it does give Riley Rorty 2 outs here in the top of the third.
Well, the Sox have an out on the board. That's a positive. A run was going to come in regardless, but Williams almost dropped that ball out of his glove. It looked a little bit shaky when he was scooping it off the ground. Good to see that he was able to get to the bag in time.
Rorty's first pitch here to Ryan Flaherty, a called strike with a nice breaking ball. The 0-1 pitch to Flaherty, a fastball that just misses off the outside edge. So the count tied up 1-1. Next pitch misses inside. falls off the head of Rorty. Now a 2-1 count.
He's getting close, just trying to locate that middle of the zone is where he's going.
Rorty gets the sign once more. He delivers in a 2-1 count. This one's lined out to right field. Langley over on a glide. He makes the catch to retire the side. So the Braves get another run from a ground out from Joey Little, but that is all they can muster. We'll take a break and be back with the bottom of the third here from CHO Airport Field.
No errors.
Now the 9-hitter in the Tom Sox lineup, Kyle Langley, digs in a bit of a diversion from the usual for Kyle Langley. Typically bats leadoff into the top of the order. Now batting in the 9 spot, he takes a first pitch fastball outside for ball 1.
Langley, a guy that you can really stick anywhere in the lineup. He's a consistent batter, has been a consistent batter all season.
As Greer delivers the 1-0. Which is lined foul towards Charlottesville High School for strike 1.
Batting .286 with 11 RBIs and 13 runs, 20 hits. He's been able to put his bat to ball quite often.
Greer working out of the windup. Motion in the Staunton bullpen has died down. Here's the 1-1 up high and in for ball 2.
He's also been immaculate at stealing bags, 11 for 11 so far this year.
Greer delivers the 2-1, which is lined foul once more.
Remember, fans, turn any
It was Miguel Hugas getting warm for Staunton an inning and a half ago, but he's not thrown any pitches for a little bit, so I think Braves are going to let Greer go as long as he can. 2-2, breaking ball and a called strike 3 on the outside edge. Third punch out of the game for Greer, and it'll turn the lineup back over to the top for the Tom Sox.
Order for the Tom Sox, the center fielder from UNC, Perry Hargan.
Perry up to bat. Got on base by balls last time up and eventually made his way to third as the Sox left 2 on base, 1 on second, 1 on third in that first inning. And how pivotal could that turn out as this game prolongs and the Sox find themselves down 2-0 right now?
First pitch to Hargett is a bender that misses up high for ball 1. Greer working out of the windup. The 1-0 to Hargett down low. Galuski tried framing it, but bounce wasn't fooling anybody. So now a 2-0 count. Greer delivers the next pitch, which is tapped foul out of play.
Want to sponsor that foul ball? Visit TomSox.com.
Hargett with the University of North Carolina had 2 home runs and 20 runs brought in, including 15 RBIs. over the course of the season. Slugged 400, batted 214, so a pretty good season for the Tar Heel.
Hargett takes strike 2 on the outside half. So now an even up 2-2 count to the leadoff man. Next pitch, breaking ball, just missed. Greer thought he had strike 3, but the count will run full at 3-2. Greer delivers the payoff pitch. Down low for ball 4. So Hargett works his second walk of the ball game and gives the Tom Sox a base runner in the bottom of the 3rd.
Absolutely necessary there for the Sox to get somebody on base by any means possible. If there's any inning to get a run in, it's this one as we head into the middle portion of the match.
So it'll be the future Maryland Terrapin in Jackson Soroy at the dish.
They'll be joining colleagues Nathan Schwartz and Daniel Stein on campus in College Park in
First
the
pitch,
fall.
Hargett goes. Galuski's throw to second, not in time. Pacheski can't scoop it, but it'll be scooped up by the shortstop Ingram. So Hargett won't be able to advance further than second.
Based on Daniel's reaction to the future Terrapin comment, people up there in Maryland are very excited about Soroy.
Soroy saw some playing time with the Cavaliers of the University of Virginia this season, was effective in those games as he takes ball 2. Was a topic of discussion with future Cavalier coach Chris Pollard, who came to a game to watch Soroy play, but Soroy down to 2 decisions, stay or go, and he chose to commit to the Terrapins. He lines that one back into center field. Little coming on, he makes a nice catch to deny Soroy of a base hit and keep Hargett from moving any further, and that'll be out number 2 for the Sox.
Now batting, the shortstop from TCU, Preston Gamster.
Up comes the Horned Frog out of Texas Christian University. Struck out looking last time up, but I think he'll be a little more aggressive this time around.
So now it'll be Gamster. He's had a pretty torrent stretch of hitting recently. Saw his average climb from around 250 to now sitting at over 300. As he sees the first pitch, a breaking ball that misses off the outside edge. The On Deck Podcast Midseason Awards Show, Gamster received a lot of praise from the media team, and for very good reason. As Greer delivers the 1-0 pitch, Gamster waves at the breaking ball and misses for strike 1.
Yes, his name was mentioned quite a lot in that segment for multiple awards as well. Just a credit to what he's done on and off the field.
Hargett gets his lead off a second. As Greer working out of the stretch here, gives his 1-1. Swung on and missed. So now 1-2 for Preston Gamster. Looking to avoid his second strikeout of the game.
And if he does go down, I have a feeling it will not be looking. Expect Gamster to swing the bat here.
Greer gets his sign. Here's his 1-2 offering. This one's tapped out to short. Ingram gloves it on a hop, fires over to first. Gamster hustling, but he can't beat the throw as it's in time for out number 3. So Hargett works a walk to get a base runner for the Sox, but he can't come across the plate. 2-0 after 3 here in Charlottesville. The Braves leading the Tom Sox 2-0. We'll be back after this short break on the Tom Sox Broadcast Network.
We'd like to thank
working around some danger in the first inning of this appearance. Riley Rorty will get a second chance here in the top of the fourth to continue a solid outing.
Yeah, Rorty only let in 1 run, and I'm not even sure if that went against him. Damage control was what he came into, and he was able to get out of it with just 1 run put on the board by the Braves. Still a game that the Sox are well into. It's only 2-0 here in the top of the fourth, and Rorty starting to come into a groove now. We'll see if he can continue that.
Leading on for the Braves.
Just as a reminder to those tuning in, Tim Lawson pitched the first 2 innings of the ball game, couldn't escape the 3rd inning. He went 2 innings pitched, didn't allow a hit, but he allowed 1 earned run, and 2 runs did come across for the Braves with 6 walks and 1 strikeout. Riley Rorty took over and navigated through some turbulent waters to bring us where we currently stand with a 2-0 ball game here in the top of the fourth. His first pitch, a strike to the shortstop Jackson Ingram. As is his second pitch for strike number 2.
Really beginning to come alive here. Let's see if he can finish out this batter.
The 0-2 pitch to Ingram dips inside for ball 1.
Rorty, a product out of Midlothian, Virginia, was a state champion in football for Benedictine College Preparatory.
His 1-2 pitch, a breaking ball that misses inside again. And so now the count tied up at 2-2.
But those dual sport athletes aren't hard to find here in Charlottesville. Think about Andrew Manley, who has since gone back to school. Rorty, Tim Lawson, who was on the mound earlier, used to be a dual sport.
That is what you typically see in a lot of high-level athletes. They have experience playing multiple sports. I think a lot of guys in the MLB that played football or other sports. Kyler Murray, NFL star who was a top draft pick of the Oakland A's. This pitch from Rory is grounded to short. Gamster gloves it, fires over to first in time, and a fine defensive play there from Preston Gamster to get a hustling Jackson Ingram at first.
Now batting the catcher.
And you see that in a lot of other sports too. In basketball, you know, guys that come from European countries typically have a background in soccer, and their footwork is really prominent. You can see that when they're in the paint. Yeah, all these high-level athletes typically are good at many sports because they just have that genetic ability to succeed.
First pitch from Rory is up high. Unless you're Nikola Jokic, in which you enjoy horseback riding compared to other sports, and actually horseback riding is Jokic's first love.
First and only, it seems.
1-0 pitch from Rory to the 8-hole hitter Ty Galuski is fouled back for strike 1.
I can't imagine many horses would want to have him sitting on top of him. A 7-foot man that is probably well over 250 pounds.
Yeah, big guy, but a talented athlete and one of the many Europeans. Here's the 1-1. A beautiful breaking ball from Rory dips into the strike zone for strike 2. So now a 1-2 count. Rory looking for his first punch out of the game. He delivers. Swing and a miss. Rory gets his first strikeout of the game, taking down the catcher Ty Galuski, and now he'll face the 9-hole hitter Zach Pacheski.
It's now his third game of the season in which he has logged a strikeout. His season high is only 1 strikeout, so he has a chance here to uptick his season high to 2.
First pitch to Pacheski is grounded to second. Soroy over gloves it cleanly on to Gilliams at first in time for out number 3. So Riley Rorty sets down the Braves 1-2-3 in the top of the fourth. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth and see if the Tom Sox can equalize on the scoreboard. Welcome back to CHO Airport Field here at the bottom of the fourth between the Charlottesville Tom Sox and the Staunton Braves. Staunton ahead 2-0, and the Tom Sox haven't been able to crack the hit column yet so far in this ball game. The two lone base runners were the Sox, well, should say one lone base runner, but it is actually two with Jackson Soroy and Perry Hargett, reaching Hargett via way of the walk and Soroy via way of the error, but no one's been able to find their way on via the hit against Sam Greer, who's out here for another inning of work. He'll face 4, 5, 6 to try and continue this run of dominance he's had. Greer's first pitch to Nias, a breaking ball that dips in the strike zone for the first strike of the at-bat.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, look at the score box. He is pitching a no-hitter at the moment.
A 1 pitch to Nias also clips the strike zone for strike 2. I can only imagine Saxon Roberts out in the bullpen right now, probably letting Greer know he has a no-hitter.
It worked last time out in Culpeper.
Here's the 0-2 from Greer to Nias. That's a breaking ball in there for a called strike 3. So Nias goes down looking for the second time today. Now I'll turn things over to the 5-hole hitter, Hudson Luderman.
Now, Luderman last time out was put out at first base. Be looking to replicate some sort of success here, as we've seen throughout the season from him, no matter where he is in the lineup.
Hokie digs in and he takes a hack at the first pitch breaking ball, and he can't connect for strike 1.
The Sox have not yet tapped into that small ball mentality that we've seen so much lately. We've seen a lot of balls either go straight to an infielder or barely be caught by an outfielder.
Greer working out of the windup. The 1-1 pitch to Luderman is a line drive down the left field line. It is a foul ball. Luderman's had many of those, especially here at CHO Airport Field, where he's tried to hug the line, a largely pure pull hitter, and sometimes he pulls it just a little too far down the line.
Well, now that he's made contact, it's got to be a boost of confidence knowing that if that ball had just been a couple of inches more to the right, he would have had a stand-up double.
Here's the 1-2 from Greer, and this one's popped up. Right over towards first. Campbell in the infield grass makes the catch for out number 2. And that'll give way to Elijah Williams' second at-bat as a Tom Sock.
From Flagler College, Elijah Williams.
Well, now that he's had his premature bat flip moment, maybe this time he'll understand the dimensions of CHO Airport Field and that it is 365 yards out to center. I do like his odds of getting one over the fence at some point.
Takes a first pitch that bounces in the dirt for ball 1. Williams put a hurting on that baseball the first at-bat, but couldn't get it over the fence. See what he can do here in his second chance. He takes a look at that pitch from Greer for a called strike. Feels like every pitcher today hasn't been able to keep their hat on their headland, and both Lawson, Rorty, and Greer have had their hat fall off their head at points. So here's the 1-1 to Williams, a big swing and a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, just a little more sweat wicking the insides of that hat today, potentially.
Greer out of the windup, delivers the 1-2 pitch. That one way inside and down low for ball 2.
Nearly nicked Williams on the inside of the shin. Sox are going to need a break here if they want to extend this inning.
2-2 to Williams, and this one's popped up back towards the backstop. It's going to get out of play.
Into the concession stand for a special prize.
So Williams will stay alive to do battle in a 2-2 count.
32 hits in 33 games out of Valdosta State.
Williams gets the 2-2, and this one popped up. The bat goes flying over the Tom Sox dugout, nearly takes out one of his new teammates sitting on top of the dugout. I'll have to get a new piece of lumber to do an at-bat here.
Hats are falling, bats are slipping. What are we going to see next, Luke?
Well, hopefully a ball flying over the fence, Landon.
that would be the goal. But, you know, every game in baseball is always going to provide something a little bit different. And, you know, we've seen bats fly out of hitters' gloves this season, but none that far.
Williams gets a new piece of pine, and he's going to put some pine tar on it. Make sure that won't happen again. And he'll walk back up to the plate, ready to continue this at-bat in a 2-2 count.
Well, we've seen times this season where Sox hitters have asked for new bats mid-at-bat, and they've ended up being successful. Is this Williams' chance?
2-2 pitch, tapped foul. Greer's hat falls off once again, and I might start keeping a count of how many hats are falling off of the pitchers' heads today.
Over under 4.5 from this point out, Luke.
I might take the over on that. Greer from the windup. His 2-2 pitch to Williams is a breaking ball that just misses. And the count will be full to the new Tom Sock, Elijah Williams.
Another long at-bat that Sam Greer has gone through.
3-2 pitch. This one's driven into deep right, but it's going to go foul. The right fielder on his way, but it gets near the Sox bullpen and out of play.
He may homer in his first game. I mean, the fact that he's sent some of those balls the length that they've gone, the first one to center, that one to right, if it had just been a little bit more straight, it would have at least dropped.
Greer and Williams in a good battle here. The 10th pitch of the at-bat right here. This one's golfed into right center field. That's going to find the gap. Williams rounding first, digging for second. Throw hits the cutoff man, Pacheski, and Elijah Williams' first hit as a Tom Sock is a stand-up double.
The velo, I'd like to see the velo of the ball coming off of his bat. Anytime he's made contact, it just blisters to wherever it's going to go.
So the no-hitter for Sam Greer is broken, and now Elijah Williams in scoring position for Brock Clayton.
Clayton's last at-bat was another put out to first.
Greer delivers to Clayton. This one down low for ball one. Williams recorded 6 stolen bases for Coastal Alabama North this season. 1-0 pitch to Clayton. This one's driven out to deep left center field. Little on the run in the gap, pulls up and makes the catch on the track. So a loud out ends a promising inning for the Sox. But Elijah Williams records his first hit as a Tom Sock. The score still 2-0 after 4 here in CHO Airport Field. Stay tuned for the top of the 5th from Charlottesville. 2-0 the score after 4 innings. from CHO Airport Field here in this key matchup in the VBL South Division, a battle for second place. Staunton Braves leading the Charlottesville Tom Sox 2-0. And the Sox just recorded their first hit of the ball game. Sam Greer has really shut down the Sox offense that's been really hot as of late, putting up 8 runs, 9 runs, 12 runs yesterday against Covington in a season high, but right now the bats haven't been hot at all.
They're bound to catch fire at some point, as typically happens in a game of baseball.
Now batting the left fielder,
Riley
Lincoln
Rorty delivers the first pitch to the leadoff hitter, Lincoln Pack. And it's a ball, so a 1-0 count as he delivers the next pitch, this time a breaking ball up high for ball 2.
Really got going last inning, struck out his first batter of the night, able to put it in a position where the hitter couldn't hit it further than a put out.
2-0 pitch to Pack. This one popped up over our heads and back out of play.
Pack has got on base once tonight, virtue of balls.
2-1 misses outside. So now a 3-1 count to the leadoff man.
Despite the amount of walks and the amount of pass balls that the Braves have taken advantage of, the score is still only 2-0.
This one goes way inside for ball 4, so Pack works his second walk of the ball game and he gets the leadoff man on for the Braves.
LT Cockrell.
Here you go, Riley. Reset, babe.
Brings up LT Cockrell, who is simply just flown out to 8 and got on base by balls.
Cockrell scored back in the 3rd. He reached base via the walk. First pitch to him is a breaking ball down low. So we're already behind 1-0 early.
A walk for Cockrell wouldn't be the worst option, as he bats .356 and has 2 home runs to his name already this season. A big bat in the left batter's box.
1-0 pitch to Cockrell, grounded to Gamster at short. He goes to Soroy at second, but Soroy can't handle the throw. And so the Tom Sox, with a chance for a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play, will end up with no outs.
It's going to be an error charged to Jackson Soroy. Just so very close to being able to turn that double play, and it's been a long time since the Sox have had an error that's deterred them from turning a double play.
From somebody who's been as rock steady in the field as Soroy has been, he made an incredible diving play yesterday, but something as simple as turning a double play now puts the Sox in a bad spot as Rorty misses with the first pitch breaking ball for ball 1. Rorty gets his sign. Checks the runner, now delivers the 1-0. Inside for ball 2.
Just got to get your confidence back if you're Rorty and the infield. It's a long game to be played and a lot of outs to be had. One mistake won't define it.
Next pitch inside for ball 3. So Rorty in a hole. The possibility of loading the bases here via the walk. So a 3-0 count. Pitch to Campbell. Clips the zone for strike 1. Campbell could change this game in an instant. 6 homers on the year, and with his 7th would balloon this run to a 5-run cushion. Rorty's 3-1 clips the zone for strike 2. And that'll make the count full here with nobody out in the top of the 5th.
Very big pitch here coming from Rorty.
Rorty gets his sign on the full count. is offering. Down low for ball 4, and the bases are once again loaded with nobody outs this time in the top of the 5th.
At bat, the third baseman, Jacob Lester.
See some movement in the bullpen. Looks like a lefty out there.
It'll be Tristan Dietrich, player formerly with Florida International, currently in the transfer portal, yet to find his new home, getting loose for the Sox. Rory delivers the first pitch. This one looped into shallow right. Langley makes the catch. Runner going to the plate. Throw is going to go to third. So Pack will score on a sacrifice fly from Jacob Lester, and the score now 3-0 in favor of Staunton.
Now batting the center fielder, Joey Little.
So now Joey Little with a chance to add on, had an RBI on his ground out back in the 3rd inning. He brought in Cockrell. Could bring him in once again with a base hit here as Cockrell standing at second base. First pitch from Rorty, up high for ball 1.
Yet again, more damage control from the Tom Sox on defense. Luckily, they got an out to their name.
This one's flied out to left center field. Nias is over in the gap, makes the catch. Cockrell will stay at second, so 2 down now for the Sox. And Rorty looking to minimize the hurt from the Braves.
Now batting the right fielder, Brian Fluharty.
Well, 2 to the good after what really was looking like it could be a demonstrative inning from the Staunton Braves, and we've seen that a lot from the Sox. They're going to need to get themselves on the board if they're going to keep on doing stuff like that on defense with the amount of walks and errors we've seen so far tonight.
First pitch from Rorty to Fluharty is golfed into right field. That's going to get down the right field line for a base hit. Cockrell rounding third. He'll score. Campbell, big turnaround Thor, slides and slips, but gets back to the base. And Ryan Fluharty with a RBI double to make the lead a 4-run cushion for the Braves.
That one just a weird one for William to try and locate. Started to the left and came over to the right. Before dropping on that first base line.
So now Ingram at the dish. He takes a first pitch ball. Rorty gets his sign, delivers the 1-0 to Ingram up high. Clayton fumbles around with it, but nobody able to advance, as there's really no room for anyone to advance. And a 2-0 count now to the 7-hole hitter, Jackson Ingram. Pitch dips inside to make the count 3-0 now.
And if you're a member of the Tom Sox right now, even though the score line is a bit unflattering with being 4-0 down, you've got to understand that a lot of runs can come in at any point in time, and we are not even halfway through this game.
Saw it in the game earlier this week against Harrisonburg as Rorty misses down low for ball 4. So another walk issued by Riley Rorty. And now Randy Tomlin making a walk out to the mound. We'll see if that's the end of the ball game for Rorty.
No signal yet to the bullpen.
Dietrich's still just getting loose out there.
Makes me believe they're going to try and let Rorty see this one out, see this inning out, and then make a switch before going into the 6th. Oh, I stand corrected. Tristan Dietrich is now jogging onto the field and will come in to replace Riley.
So that'll be the end of the outing for Riley Rorty. Tristan Dietrich will try and minimize the hurt here in the top of the 5th. We'll take a break and be back on the other side of this pitching change. Arm on the mound for the Charlottesville Tom Sox will be the man in the transfer portal, Tristan Dietrich. And Landon, you have his season stats.
I do indeed. The man from Florida International. Actually, well, you know, my computer is just not communicating with me today. I will use another form of technology to get these stats in. Here we go. With Florida International last season, he pitched an ERA of 6.11. Similar ERA to what he has in 7 games for the Tom Sox this season, with 6.43 and 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts and 10 walks, looking to get the Sox out of this inning as the bases are loaded for the Braves.
Well, the big lefty delivers the first pitch to the catcher Ty Galuski, a ball on the outside edge.
College teammates with Evan Allwine and Adonis Velez, so you know, got some talent to train with this season, and last season he did with Evan Allwine, and we see how talented he is on the mound.
Next pitch from Dietrich. Another one that misses up high for ball 2. Dietrich had a solid outing earlier this week against Harrisonburg, went 1 1/3, allowed a run, struck out 2, but also walked 2 in a game where the pitching staff wasn't at their finest. 2-0 from Dietrich, and this one's blasted into the gap by Galuski. Langley on the run makes the catch, and that one looked like trouble off the bat, but Kyle Langley lets me know that I didn't read that one all too well. As Dietrich comes in and allows some hard contact, but minimizes the damage here. We'll take a break and be back with Landon Weaver taking you the rest of the way through this ball game. Thanks for sticking with me on the Tom Sox Broadcast Network.
Welcome into half number 2 here from CHO Airport Field. Sox find themselves into a hole. Their work has certainly come out for them, as up for them is Evan Taveras looking to jumpstart a comeback here in Charlottesville. I'm Landon Weaver alongside Luke Stefanisco, and yeah, the Sox find themselves down 4-0, much to the dismay from a bunch of walks, a lot of pass balls, and not a whole lot of connection out in the infield. First pitch to Taveras. Can't locate the zone. That's still Sam Greer out there on the mound for Staunton.
Yeah, and it's not been the finest showing for the Tom Sox offense. I believe Staunton was going to go to Greer for only a few innings with Miguel Hugas warming up, but they've stuck with him now, and he's certainly delivered a good outing for them.
Ball again there from Greer. Can't locate the zone. Count moves to 2-0. Taveras so far today, not a whole lot going for him. He flew out to center earlier. This just being his second at bat of the day, as that one nearly connects with the upper half of his body. Luckily he's okay, and he's ahead in the count, 3-0.
So we already have 2 instances of Greer's hat falling off in this singular at bat, so I think me taking the over earlier on was probably a good bet.
The 3-0 swung and foul tip to the side, as Sam Greer will get on the board, and Derek Toff will hand him another ball. Staying alive is Evan Taveras, as Sam Greer has given him quite a path to getting on base. We'll see if he takes it. Greer will deal the 3-1. Up next for the Tom Sox is Kyle Langley. That ball is down low and will send Evan Taveras to first.
Good job there by Evan Taveras. Solid count. A very close pitch there on 3-1, but he got the call, and now he gives a chance to Kyle Langley, one of the more consistent hitters and a guy that has some pop in the bat that could send one out to cut into this Braves lead here.
We have a bit of a mound visit between Ty Galuski and Sam Greer, just trying to settle his man on the bump before he faces the JMU Duke and Kyle Langley, who had a bit of a homecoming the other night in Harrisonburg.
Kyle Langley.
Yeah, Langley DH that game. A little surprising to not see him patrolling the outfield that he's patrolled all season in the Sun Belt, but had himself a single and helped contribute to the Sox offense that held tight with the South Division's best in the Harrisonburg Turks.
First pitch to Langley, he swings and he misses. Strike 1. Langley played 99 games so far for James Madison. He'll hit the Centurion in his first game of next season for the Dukes. The 0-1 with Taveras on first, coming up from Greer. That one curves but cannot locate the zone, 1-1. And Kyle Langley so far today struck out looking, and that has been his only at bat. The Sox have not been able to get around the order much. The 1-1 from Sam Greer. Langley foul tips it behind for strike 2.
And Langley needs to have a tough at-bat here. I think you need to kind of boil some momentum over and consistently find ways to get on base to really get the Sox offense rolling. They haven't been able to do that so far in the early innings. I think that this is a good spot where you could start to find that momentum and keep it rolling.
The 1-2 to Kyle. He swings and chops it. That one going to Ingram, who dices it to Pachevsky and over to first. The double play is turned. Oh, man. Pachevsky with a great throw to Wyatt Campbell to get 2 outs on the board and end a promising campaign from the Tom Sox. They'll have to start over from scratch with Perry Hargett leading off.
That's the exact option that I would not have asked for, a 6-4-3 double play. It's hard to double up Kyle Langley, but that baseball, according to our first base umpire, just hit hard enough for the Braves to turn it. And with 2 outs now, Perry Hargett, who has walked twice, but hasn't been able to really muster anything out of those 2 walks.
The first pitch to Hargett. Can't locate the zone, just a bit outside for ball 1. The man from Chapel Hill, a part of that UNC team that made it all the way to the ACC championships, eventually won, as the second pitch is outside again. They won the ACC championships, made it to the regionals before bowing out. Played 29 games down there in Chapel Hill this season. Another ball towards Perry. That's ball 3. He's one away from getting himself on base. With 2 outs on the board after the double play was turned by the Braves. The 3-0. Finds the zone for strike 1. Greer gets on the board. This is a really big at-bat here for the Tom Sox. They are going to want to get runs sooner rather than later. The 3-1. Hargett scoops that one up into shallow right. A diving catch is made by Fluharty, and that's going to end the inning. We head to the top of the 6th. The Sox still down 4-0 and looking for the comeback starter. Tristan Dietrich still donning the bump here as we enter the top of the 6th, getting down to crunch time for the Sox to make some plays on both sides, Luke.
Yeah, and the Sox just haven't been able to string stuff together offensively, and that's been their key issue. I mean, have Evan Tavares working a nice walk, and immediately Kyle Langley grounds into a double play, and that's been the main issue, and the pitching staff hasn't really been able to limit walks. That's the issue. You can't give guys free passes. You got to force them to put the ball in play and then trust your defense behind you. And the Sox pitching staff really hasn't done a good job of that today, and we've seen it. I mean, Tim Lawson walked 6 batters, Rorty 3, already 9 walks allowed from the pitching staff, and we're only about halfway through this ball game.
Zach Pichevsky steps up to the batter's box for the Braves to lead off the top of the 6th. First pitch to him is low and inside, so ball 1. The 1-0 from Dietrich swung on and popped foul. Count moves to 1-1. That is something the Sox have been struggling with in losses, and you see it mostly then, is the amount of walks and the amount of times that they are walked in a certain inning. So the 1-1 is chopped through the legs of Dietrich, and Pichevsky will get to first and stay there to single and start off this 6th inning. More woes from the Sox on defense, as the top of the order comes up now for the Braves and Lincoln Pack.
Good job there by Pichevsky. Got himself on base with a single, and it was just a good case of situational hitting. Just drove right back up the middle. Didn't need to do too much. Just put it right where there was nobody. Right past Dietrich, who couldn't get a glove on it. Now turns it over to the top of the order, and might see Pichevsky in motion here.
Pack showing bunt. Will he stay that way? Yes, he will. He hits it down the first base line. Gideons comes to it, and that ball is luckily going to go foul.
And a very smart decision there by Elijah Glims. I know it elicited some laughs from up here in the press box, but as long as you touch that ball foul and it stays foul, it is legal. It's a legal play to do that, and it will be ruled a foul ball. So a good job there and a smart play from Elijah Williams.
So the count now moves to 0-1 after a long-awaited foul ball by Lincoln Pack's bat. The 0-1 shows bunt again. That one will not locate the zone, just outside for a 1-1 count. Pack so far today got on base by walks twice. He bunts straight to Dietrich, who can't locate the ball at first. Gets it over to Williams for the first out of the 6th inning. Cool, calm, and collected after a little shaky attempt to grab the ball off the ground was Dietrich, but nonetheless retires Lincoln Pack.
Yeah, that was a decision. I believe Dietrich wanted to go to second because of how the bunt was placed. It came back pretty hot, and I believe he could have gotten a throw off to second base, but bobbled with a little bit. Still cool, calm, and collected enough to get the ball over to first and get an out, which is exactly what you need in that situation.
Brings up one of the biggest bats in the Valley Baseball League, LT Cockrell, the designated hitter today. First pitch to him is low and away for ball 1. Batting .356 on the season. Not many people over .350. That's a heralded number. The 1-0 from Dietrich as he checks on Pacheski, who made his way to second. Cockrell fouls that one back to even the count at 1-1. We already mentioned, but at Delaware, Cockrell, a guy that liked to swing a lot. 38 strikeouts in 42 games for the Blue Hens. The 1-1 from Dietrich with 1 out on the board here in the 6th. Low and away yet again for the second ball of this at-bat.
Yeah, and the Sox need a big inning from Dietrich here. I don't think it's a stretch to say that a big inning here might be able to spark some momentum offensively at the top of the order, due up to lead off the next inning.
The 2-1 from Dietrich, checking on Pacheski. Cockrell swings and hits that one into foul territory, going over the batting cage to even the count at 2 apiece. But yeah, the Sox need some sort of spark, whether it's on the field or off. We've seen the dugout spark a lot of comebacks this season, and they will be looking to do that again. The 2-2 coming up from Tristan Dietrich. High, but did he check? No, he did not. Count will move the full. Cockrell gets away with maybe checking that bat, and the payoff pitch coming up. A big pitch here from Tristan Dietrich with a man on second. That one outside, and it'll send Cockrell jogging to first. Another walk from the Tom Sox, the 10th of this game.
Now batting, the first baseman,
Don't want to beat a dead horse here, but Wyatt Campbell's the guy you don't want to face with runners on scoring position. A lot of pop in that bat, a lot of RBI producing power. Could really put this game out of hand for the Sox.
17 RBIs from Wyatt Campbell in just 22 games this season. That bat has some magic along with the red helmet. Tristan Dietrich dealing to him with 2 men on base. Pacheski goes, and he is not caught at third. He steals and gets runners on the corners for the Braves.
But interesting, that was not a double steal. It was just Pacheski taking off for third. And Cockrell now at first base. So Sox are going to relay some signals here. Interesting to see how they'll approach this with runners on the corners. Typically you'd see a double steal there, but Cockrell did not advance.
Brock Clayton at the helm for the Sox, one of their most guarded leaders. The 0-1 from Dietrich to Campbell with a man on third, 90 feet away from scoring. That one can't locate the zone, evens the count at 1-1. The 1-1 to Campbell out of Ocala, Florida. Into the dirt for ball 2.
This is a big pitch here. I think if you go down 3-1, I don't like the odds of avoiding a walk. I think you have to find a way to throw a strike here, or at least induce some weak contact and maybe prevent the run from scoring, or even roll a double play if you're Tristan Dietrich.
Here comes the 2-1 from Dietrich. Swung on and popped in the shallow right. Langley will catch it, gather it, throw it to second, but not before LT Cockrell, or Zach Pacheski, my apologies, comes home to score and put the 5th unanswered run up on the board for the Staunton Braves. 5-0 here at CHO Airport Field with runners on second and first.
That's just a tough pitch. Campbell beat Dietrich on that one, and imperative he needed a strike there, but unfortunately Campbell put a good swing on it, and now you're down 5-0. You have to find a way to, again, minimize damage, but minimal damage in multiple innings is going to pile up, and it's affected the Sox as we see it on the scoreboard now.
First pitch to Jacob Lester, the first baseman for the Braves, is above the glove of Brock Clayton for ball 1. Just the energy has been sucked out of CHO Airport Field tonight, as that one finds the zone for strike 1 on a night where there are a pretty good amount of fans, as it is Military Appreciation Night, and we appreciate any sock that is going on into the armed forces, as Lester checks and swings for strike 2, including one of our own from this very season that went into the Air Force. J.D. Wolf is now back with the Air Force and going into the armed forces. We'd like to thank him. If he is listening, maybe somewhere out there. The 1-2 to Lester. Finds the zone for strike 3. Dietrich, a big strikeout there. Could that be the start of something?
Hopefully it is the start of the end of the inning, as Bradley Link, the junior from Pensacola State, gets loose out in the bullpen, as we have light in the press box, blinding light.
It brings up Joey Little. Ball 1. My decision to turn the light on is quickly done. Decided it had gotten a little dark, but maybe not dark enough. The 1-0 to Little from Dietrich, looking to retire the side here in this inning and avoid damage yet again. Little pops it foul. 1-1. 5 runs is doable. It's when you get into that 6, 7, or 8 range that it really feels like it's out of reach.
Yeah, 6 or 7 runs is usually unobtainable, especially in summer baseball, but it is never say never.
The 1-1, Lester hits it down the first base line, but it'll go foul and into the Tom Sox bullpen.
Dietrich 1 pitch away here. We'll see what he goes to. I expect to see some kind of breaking ball from Dietrich. He's had it working pretty solid. It's when he's used the fastball in a fastball count that he's gotten beaten.
The 1-2 from Dietrich, looking to retire Little and retire the side. Into the glove, and did he go? No, he did not. So the count will even yet again at 2. Little staying alive for a tiny bit longer. Looking to load the bases yet again for Staunton. The 2-2. A runner goes, but not before Little swings and misses. Dietrich retires the side, but not before the Braves can put up another run. 5-0 as we head into the bottom of the 6th.
1 run, 2 hits.
The Sox find themselves in an even deeper hole than they were in before. Now the score 5-0 in favor of Staunton, with Jackson Soroy due up, followed by Preston Gamster and Patrick Neas. Some big bats there in the 2, 3, and 4 portion of this order, looking to get the Sox back into a game where history is not on their side.
Yeah, the Sox this season, 0 come-from-behind wins when trailing after the 6th inning. Not ideal, or 0-6 in that category.
First pitch to Soroy is high and goes down as ball 1. You know, there's a first time for everything, but the way the Sox have been hitting, it's just, they don't look like they have it firing tonight, as that one goes into the dirt for ball 2. It looks like there is somebody in the bullpen for the Staunton Braves. Sam Greer has put in a long shift. This will be his 6th inning if he were to complete it. The 2-0 to Soroy. High again, ball 3.
This is only Greer's second start, I should say, of the season.
A relatively fresher arm. The 3-0 to Soroy. Into the dirt. Low, I should say. Nonetheless, Soroy jogs his way to first, and the Sox yet again have a runner on with no outs.
Shortstop from TCU, Preston Gamster.
That's a good sign. Gamster's been torrently hot. Has a chance to create some sort of momentum for the Sox.
It's going to be Brady Clark in the bullpen for the Braves. The pitch to Gamster made Galuski shuffle a little bit. Ball 1, and time is called by the Staunton head coach. And it looks like they're going to bring Brady Clark into the game imminently.
Clark, a New York native, kind of completing the trifecta as he attends St. John's University and is a Jets fan. So one of the sports trifectas of the New York world. 6 games this season. He's pitched to a 2-1 record with 10 innings pitched, a 1.68 ERA, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk.
Boy, if that's the guy that you have coming in, you've got to be quite confident that you can see this game out with more donuts to come. A 1.68 ERA is hard to come by in the Valley Baseball League. When you've got it, you got to use it to your potential. But nonetheless, Greer stays out there with Gamster still in the batter's box. 1-0 is the count. Gamster looks at that one sailing into the strike zone.
Gamster almost threw his hands up in the air like he was confused. Wasn't expecting that pitch.
The 1-1 to Gamster. Again, he looks, but he watches that one sail wide for a ball. 2-1 now the count. Gamster trying to get on base.
Don't think he wants a breaking ball. I think he's looking for a fastball he can drive somewhere.
The 2-1. That one is low, and that will go down for yet another ball. 3-1 Gamster, 1 ball away from getting himself on base and sending Soroy to second, something the Tom Sox have not had go for them often in this match.
Only wonder what Preston's saying to himself in the box right now.
The 3-1 is high, and that will send Gamster to first. Soroy to second, and the Tom Sox have a little bit of life in them with no outs on the board.
And it's going to fall on the shoulders of Patrick Neas here, who's had his fair share of late-game heroics this season for the Sox.
Indeed, he has. A guy that you'd want in the batter's box at this point, someone that's able to drive in runs. And when you have Gamster and Soroy, guys that are both quite quick on their feet, you like your chances of them getting around the bases fast.
Well, as Greer exits the ball game.
Yeah, we bring in Brady Clark, but we won't go to break. We'll stay here as we take a look at the Valley League standings. This game means a lot for both the Tom Sox and the Braves, as if the Tom Sox were to find a way to win this one, they would move up into the second place spot, where the first 2 spots get a bye going into the playoffs, and we are only 25 games into the season, but still, it's always worth mentioning. Woodstock, far and away the best team in the league at 17-6. another note mentioning Front Royal currently on a 11-game losing streak, not going well up north. But the Tom Sox have found themselves back into the mix and very, very viable for a first-round bye in the Valley League playoffs. A lot of baseball left to be played, as Luke, you have some stuff from around the league.
So right now we have one final from across the Valley League concluded at 4:58 p.m. Woodstock, a run rule victory over the Winchester Royals 15-1. Newmarket currently leading Covington in the bottom of the 7th, 8-4. Waynesboro out ahead of Purcellville 6-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Harrisonburg trailing Culpeper 4-2 in the top of the 6th. Staunton obviously out ahead of Charlottesville 5-0 here in the top of the 6th. And in the bottom of the 5th, Strasburg leading Front Royal 6-3.
So there you have it. Your look around the league as Brady Clark still warming up for the Staunton Braves, and Patrick Nias awaits his attempt in the batter's box with a runner on first, a runner on second, with Soroy on second, Gamster on first. And, you know, with no outs on the board, Luke, the Sox look primed to do something here with Nias up at the plate.
Nias, one of the better hitters on the team with runners in scoring position. He has 8 hits in 28 bats, batting at a .286 clip, runners in scoring position. So, a guy you might want in this spot.
And compared to his regular batting average, that is almost 50 points higher. Bats .231 on the season, as you said, .286, nearing 300 with runners in scoring position. And if he were to get his bat on the ball here, it could lift it over 300. You got some RBI demons up in the lineup. You got Patrick Nias right now, Hudson Luderman, and we've seen what Elijah Williams can do to a ball if he were to make contact with it. He's after Luderman, but if he has potential to be up. The first pitch to Nias.
Clark's an imposing arm, so we'll see how Nias handles it.
Nias checks in. Umpire deemed that one fell into the zone for strike one. Brady Clark will deal the 0-1. That one just a bit above the zone for ball one. Clark has a bit of an unorthodox throwing pattern. It looks like he pauses, not pauses, but twists the ball in a way that you can see his fingers right before he throws it. The 1-1 from Clark. He checks Soroy, throws to Nias. That one sails inside for ball two. Big opportunity here as the count moves in favor of the batter. Patrick Nias out of Gardner-Webb University in the Big South. The 2-1. Nias swings and pops that one up way in the air, and it will come down, landing in foul territory. Count will move to 2 apiece.
A good spot here for Nias. He struck out twice this ball game, both times looking, but certainly has some motivation to try and put bat on ball and get himself right at the plate.
The 2-2 to Pat. He swings and chops that one foul yet again. Staying alive. He has runs on the mind here. With no outs on the board, he can be pretty aggressive. And with being down 5-0, you'd like to see some aggressive batting from Charlottesville.
You're going to need it in a big spot like this.
The 2-2 to Nias. He swings and pops that one up. Coming to grab it is the shortstop Ingram, and he does. So he retires Nias, but that's only 1 out on the board, and it will bring up Hudson Luderman.
This is a good spot in the lineup for the Sox. 2 back-to-back guys who can really make some hard contact. Luderman's had success recently, driving in runs, did so for a couple RBIs last night against Covington. And then you have Elijah Williams, who's had 2 very hard-hit baseballs today. The chance with runners on base. I'd love to see what he can do then.
The first pitch to the Hokie. Luderman kind of half swing, chops that one foul for strike one. We saw him loop one into deep left earlier today and just barely missed the chalk on the third base line. A couple inches out. The 0-1 to Hudson. As Soroy nearly had Clark thinking about throwing over, taking a big gap at second. As Clark readies himself on the mound to pitch to Hudson Luderman. The 0-1 with 1 out on the board. Luderman swings and hits that one way up in the air, way into foul territory, and that'll put the second strike on the board.
And Luderman's had a couple of those this season where he's just pulled off a little bit early. He has the power to hit it right down that left field line, but he's just a little early sometimes.
The 0-2. Checks on Soroy, throws the pitch, lines it into center field. Soroy rounds third. He's going to stay at third. That will load the bases for the big bat to step up to the plate. Elijah Gwilliam. Finally the Sox get something to go their way. Bases loaded with just 1 out on the board.
Well, listen, if there was any time for fireworks, it might be right now. And Elijah Gwilliams has absolutely pulverized 2 baseballs, and there might be a chance for some more violence right here.
Like what you did there with the fireworks, and 4th of July is tomorrow. But here comes Elijah Gwilliams after the Hudson Luderman single to chalk the bases full. Prime territory for the Sox to drive in some runs here. There seems to be anticipation at CHO Airport Field as the first pitch to Gwilliams is swung in. He loses another bat. That one nearly takes out a player sitting on top of the Tom Sox bullpen. Walker Buchanan has fallen to the floor in protection. He is now up on his feet. My goodness. That is 2 for Elijah Gwilliams.
Yeah, what I'm gathering is the man swings so hard the bat flies out of his hands. And I could see why he has belted 2 baseballs today, because there is just violence in that swing.
Go big or go home, and he is not going anywhere near Georgia tonight. That is just absolutely something that I have never seen. Sometimes you see one, you see multiple from the same team, but never multiple from the same player. Wow. Well, back to the action now. That one will go down as a strike. And the 0-1 will be dealt to Elijah Gwilliams yet again. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Now if you're Gwilliams, I think you just got to relax a little bit here. Just try and put the ball in play, bring home a run, get things rolling for the Sox, and allow the people behind you to try and make an impact as well.
The 0-2. Swung on and chopped foul.
Gotta keep your weight back. Let's go, babe.
Count stays at 0-2. Gwilliams stepping up into a big moment in his first game here at CHO Airport Field. The 0-2 is way outside for ball 1. A walk would not be the worst thing here if you're Charlottesville. You just want to get on the board. It doesn't matter how you do it.
No, babe. Good job.
The 1-2 to Gwilliams. Swing and driven into right field. Here comes Soroy. Gamster as well. Luderman gets to third, and he will stay there as Gwilliams slides into second. A 2-run RBI double, and the Sox are on the board and back in this game.
Yeah, and it's just Elijah Gwilliams making his debut, and he has had now 3 hard-hit baseballs, 2 doubles, 1 should have been a double. It is just impressive from Elijah Gwilliams. This approach is something we've seen very similar to Andrew Manley, but he just has such a swing that he's able to just kind of rip it down the line or find the gaps. It's great because, you know, in a Moneyball type of way, you can't replace Andrew Manley, but you can replicate him in the aggregate, and I think Elijah Gwilliams is that replacement for Andrew Manley.
Definitely see the similarities. A lefty for a lefty and a big bat for a big bat. And now another big bat coming up is Brock Clayton. The first pitch to him with 1 out on the board. He swings and misses. That ball by Gwilliams was perfectly placed in the right field where Fluharty couldn't get to it. And it drove in 2 runs. 5-2 your score here in Charlottesville. With Brock Clayton, the Florida Gator, up to bat, the 0-1. Check swing, but he didn't go, and that ball sailed into the dirt for ball 1.
This is a big spot, and rightfully so. You're going to talk out to your pitcher, Clark, who's probably not dealt with this kind of adversity all season long, but
yeah, pitching a 1.68 ERA, and he just let in 2 runs, something that he probably is not used to.
Now those 2 runs are charged to Sam Greer, but
nonetheless, they're runs. Yeah,
not too fun to let them score. You want to try and keep runners away from crossing the plate.
The 1-1 to Clayton. Low for ball 2. The Sox, it feels like they have gotten life rejuvenated back into them. The lead cut down to 3. The 2-1 to Clayton. He checked, didn't go. Did he go? No, he did not. Count moves to 3-1 with another chance to load the bases if another ball from Clark is thrown. The 3-1 to Clayton. That one's a ball. Clayton loads the bases, and that will bring up Evan Tavares.
This might be the inning. We've said all game long that there's going to be an inning where the Sox are going to find their groove, and ironically it's against one of the best arms in the Braves bullpen, but it feels that nothing can go wrong for the Sox this inning, and now you turn to Evan Tavares, a guy who's played in the ACC in a difficult conference that has the experience in big moments like this.
And I credit our colleague Daniel Stein for an omen of it. Tavares swings and misses on the first pitch, but he did say in a commercial break that he feels like sooner or later the Sox are going to put up a bunch of runs in an inning, and it seems to be that way now. Don't want to speak too soon. 1 out on the board. Bases loaded again for the Tom Sox. Evan Tavares at the plate. The second pitch to him is low for ball 1. Tavares on the season batting .217 with 4 RBIs. He's walked twice but struck out 8 times. The 1-1 to Tavares. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
And it is a bit of a decision to not pinch hit Tavares here. I do believe bringing in a lefty, we have some lefties on the bench. Lee Sowers is a choice, but I believe Randy Tomlin trusts in his guy, Evan Tavares, to get the job done here.
A train passes. The pitch comes to Tavares. He swings and misses. It doesn't retire the side, however. It does bring up a lefty in Kyle Langley.
I didn't mention this earlier, Landon, but if you want a person up with runners in scoring position, Kyle Langley is the guy, batting over 500 with runners in scoring position. 538 to be exact. He's had 13 at-bats with runners in scoring position.
Well, the moment is prime for him as the first pitch to him is well outside. Ty Galuski is positioned to try and make Langley chase. He's positioned a bit left of the home plate as that one sails for ball 1. The 1-0 from Clark.
Langley also has 4 2-out RBIs.
That one nicks the zone for strike 1. 4 2-out RBIs. He is a one clutch Duke. 11 RBIs on the season for Langley. Will there be more here? The 1-1. That one just a bit low. Goes down as ball 2. Langley steadies himself. Clark stares down his catcher. Readies the pitch. Langley swings that one, gets it into center field. Luderman will score. Williams comes home. Will he be tagged? He will. It ends the inning, but not before Luderman cuts the lead to 2. We'll head into the top of the 7th. Sox down 5-3. vibes have certainly shifted here at CHO Airport Field. The Sox have clawed back just a little bit. The score now 5-3 with Staunton still in the lead. And up for the Braves is Ryan Fluharty. He swings and misses on his first pitch. Tristan Dietrich still in the game for the Sox, but now we're in crunch time. The last 3 innings of the game, the Sox are only down 2. The 0-1 outside for ball 1. Fluharty so far today has reached 3 times, twice via walks and 1 virtue of a 2-run RBI double. That one, he swings and misses. Took a lot out of that. Going for it all. The 1-2. Just a bit outside from Dietrich. He's really dealing now. You can tell that he's got some confidence back in him. As the count evens at 2. Outside again. Full count now. Dietrich readying the payoff pitch. The 3-2. Outside, and Fluharty will walk his way to first.
Now batting the shortstop, Jackson Ingram.
Brings up Jackson Ingram, who was walked in his last at bat, walked in his first at bat, but flew out and was put out in the middle 2. And now Dietrich is getting a mound visit, and we have a new pitcher coming into the game for the Tom Sox. It's going to be Bradley Link out of Pensacola, Florida. He'll check in as Dietrich put in a good shift, stopped the bleeding slightly, and Link will come in and try and continue the strong play from the Tom Sox. We'll take a quick break as he readies himself for this last third of the game. So Bradley Link stepping up to the mound. He has put in some good shifts lately, including one just a couple weeks ago on June 16th. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 ball, or 1 walk, I should say, and 4 strikeouts. He'll try and recreate that success here tonight on July 3rd. Comes into the game with a runner on first, and Ryan Fluharty, after he was walked by Tristan Dietrich, bringing up Jackson Ingram, the shortstop. The first pitch of his night. Ingram shows bunt, pulls away, ball 1. Bradley Link played 17 games for Pensacola State last season. Pitched a .444 ERA, a 3-4 record. The 1-0 from Link. Down low for ball 2. So far with the Tom Sox, he's pitched in 8 games, a 2-2 record with 20 strikeouts, 18 balls, but a 6.87 ERA.
Link's a guy that's been used both as a long-term guy out of the pen and as a high-leverage guy. And on a high-leverage spot here, let's see if he can perform.
Ingram shows bunt again. Clayton throws over to first. Can't get Fluharty out. That was a really, really close attempt to picking off Fluharty at first, but count moves to 3-0.
Imperative you find the strike zone here. You can't afford to walk another batter and allow Staunton to continue to just pile up base runners.
The 3-0 finds the zone for strike 1. Link gets on the board tonight. As the sun has fully set here in Charlottesville. The only thing lighting the field are the stadium lights. Ingram shows bunt, bunts it foul. Count moves to full.
It's good there for Bradley Link because now the threat of a bunt from Ingram almost nullifies itself in a 3-2 count. You wouldn't want to risk getting yourself out on a foul bunt here. We'll see what the Braves coaching staff will do. They could go with an aggressive play and still lay one down, as Bradley Link doesn't like that baseball.
That's a couple times already that he's picking and choosing the balls that he wants. The 3-2 from Link. Swung on, but pop foul well behind us. Count will stay the same here in the top of the 7th. The Sox, again, clawed back into this game after a 3-run 6th inning. Looking to have a scoreless inning here as the runner goes. Clayton throws to second. The tag, not in time. Fluharty able to safely steal. But that means that Ingram is retired after a called strike 3.
Now batting the catcher, Ty Galuski.
Bringing up Ty Galuski for the Braves. Runner on second, but 1 out on the board.
Yeah, a good pitch there from Link. Had to go to the off-speed to get the out. Made it a tougher throw for Brock Clayton, but now you can go to work against Galuski with the threat of 2 base runners gone almost fully.
Galuski showed bunt. Pulled away because that one sailed wide for ball 1. Galuski so far today has flown out, line out, and struck out. The 1-0 outside again for ball 2. The Sox seem a little more connected now on defense. Bradley Link, a pretty consistent pitcher on the mound. With 1 out on the board, the Sox are looking to just get their 3rd scoreless inning of the day. As Galuski chops that one up into foul territory towards the 3rd base line. No harm, no foul. Count moves to 2-1.
Yeah, Link finding the strike zone there on a 2-0 count is huge. Another 3-0 count probably wouldn't lead to a lot of success for Link on the mound. So managing to get a strike there is key in this at-bat.
The 2-1 to Galuski. He shows bunt. He does bunt. Throwing over to first, but not in time, or not even a throw actually. Luderman decided to hold up. Now runners on the corners for the Braves with Fluharty at 3rd and Galuski at 1st.
Well, it's a smart play from Hudson Luderman to not make that throw there. Anything that goes awry scores another run and really hampers your momentum now. So you got to bunker down if you're Bradley Link and try to find a way to get in out without allowing Fluharty to score from 3rd.
It looks like we're going to have a pinch hit for Zach Pacheski. Looks like it's going to be number 24.
And not
Urbaniak.
Not great for the Tom Sox. The man that stands 2nd in the Valley League in batting average will be at the dish.
Batting .392 on the season with 2 home runs, 20 hits in 16 games. That's a hit and a quarter every game, slugging .569 on the season. Just an absolutely huge bat out of Longwood University.
Pinch hitting, number 24, Mikey Urbaniak.
On the bright side, Tygalewski has not stolen any bases this season, so may not even see Staunton try to get him in motion to avoid a double play.
So Link will deal to Mikey Urbaniak. The first pitch finds the zone for strike one. Urbaniak has struck out 17 times this season. For Longwood, he was no slouch. Batted .294 with 3 home runs, 42 runs brought home, and 45 hits as the second pitch to Urbaniak is outside for ball one.
Get a ground ball, babe. Ground ball away, babe.
The 1-1. Urbaniak swings and lines that one into right field. Langley going back, makes a diving catch, but it drops. He can't make the catch. Flaherty will round third and score. Urbaniak will slip as he was rounding second, get back as the throw was over to Clayton. The Braves put up another run. After all the diving catches we've seen today, I assumed that Langley would have made that one. A bit premature by myself. Score is now 6-3.
And a good piece of hitting from Mikey Urbaniak. And now it really turns it over to the top of the order for the Braves, who could really might put this one out of reach with any additional runs. Here comes Randy Tomlin to the mound to have a chat with Bradley Link.
So a pitcher now taking Bradley Link out. He only made it a third of an inning. Not exactly sure who that is jogging over to the mound. It's going to be Ian White out of ECU, a man that knows how to throw heat. A relatively new Tom Sock, but he has quickly made himself a pivotal part of this bullpen. Didn't play too much for Eastern Carolina. He's actually committed to Indiana, but pitched a .360 ERA in 10 innings with 11 strikeouts and 9 walks.
So Link leaves, and he'll be responsible for the runners on second and third, and White's going to have to really bunker down to keep the Sox in this game.
And he's played pretty well for the Sox so far. 2 games, a 1-0 record with 5 innings pitched, but a 1.80 ERA, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, 1 earned run, and a batting average against of .067.
Yeah, White's a guy that could pitch. His breaking stuff is absolutely phenomenal. When it's on, it is almost unhittable, and you've seen it in his outings. The last outing, 4 strikeouts. Most of those came exclusively on his breaking ball, whether it was caught looking or just absolute filth that the batter couldn't touch. That's how Ian White will get his outs, and I think that's why Randy Tomlin made the move to go with him here to try and avoid any contact and end this inning with only 1 run scored.
So we'll take a break as we ready ourselves, and Ian White readies himself on the mound as we head into crunch time here at CHO Airport Field. So Ian White is ready to deal the pitch coming to Lincoln Pack. First pitch to him is just a bit outside for ball 1. But Ian White knows velo, and he pitches with some serious heat. Upwards of 92, 93 for the fastball. The 1-0. Just misses the zone for ball 2. Yet again, a pitcher from the Tom Sox bullpen has been put in for what seems to be damage control.
It's been the case a lot of today. A lot of runners on, a lot of mitigating damage for the Sox today.
White nearly hits Pack. Just evades him for ball 3. Now he has really put himself in a jam here, looking to stir himself out of it. The 3-0. Can't locate the zone for ball 4. Lincoln Pack finds himself at first base due to a walk, and that will bring up LT Cockrell. Huge, huge hitters for the Braves that we have seen in these last couple at-bats.
There is a silver lining to loading the bases for Ian White. And you can get out at any bag or any base, essentially, which is helpful, but also give one of the more dangerous hitters in the lineup a chance to put this game out of reach.
The first pitch to Cockrell. White sails it wide. Passing ball hit to the backstop. Ian White, the tag, can't get to it in time. And that's Ty Galuski who's going to score and put the Braves up 4, 7-3. It's all gone wrong for the Sox here in the top of the 7th.
It allows the other runners to move into scoring position, so now you have a run tacked on with 2 guys in prime position to also reach the plate via a base hit.
White will deal the 1-0 to Cockrell. That one down and away to the backstop again, same thing. And now it's Mike Urbaniak that will score, and in the blink of an eye, the Braves are up 5 again, and life has been sucked out of CHO Airport Field as it was just about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, it's hard when you walk a lot of guys. It's also hard when you can't find the glove sometimes.
The 2-0 to Cockrell. That one, lucky that Clayton caught it. 3-0 now the count. So Pack, the lone runner for the Braves, 90 feet away from the bag. White's pitch finds the zone for strike 1. He gets on the board. Just an unfortunate series of events from Ian White, the Hoosier. The 3-1. Down and away for ball 4. Runners on the corners for the Braves. And that'll bring up Wyatt Campbell, who RBI'd with a single in his last at-bat. And he's in prime position to do so yet again. As Clayton is beginning to show some signs to his infield with runners on the corners. White will deal to Campbell. The first pitch to him. In the zone for strike 1. That's a really, really good looking pitch there from Ian White.
Yeah, the Sox pitching staff today, this is the 3rd most walks the Sox have allowed in a single game. Tied for 3rd with Purcellville of last year.
The 0-1. That one swung on and hit into center field. Coming to get it is Langley. He makes the grab, and he'll throw to home. Clayton coming to get it, and he got him. A fantastic throw from Kyle Langley out of right field into the safe glove of Brock Clayton to retire the Staunton Braves, keeping the score 8-3 as we head into the stretch and then the bottom of the 7th. top of the order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Tom Sox find themselves down 5 yet again. The first pitch to Perry is above the zone for ball 1. But the Tom Sox are really going to need to get some runs in here. They'll have this chance and 2 more, the bottom of the 8th, bottom of the 9th, but no other time to start than now. The 1-0 to Perry. Locates the zone with a nice curveball by Brady Clark for a 1-1 count.
And you're going to have to hit Brady Clark, and he's not an easy guy to string together hits and runs. So it takes some really good at-bats from the Sox to win this one.
The 1-1. Hargett bunts. Will he make it to first? No, he will not. A very tight call there, but nonetheless, Perry will go back to the dugout, and it will send up Jackson Soroy, the Maryland Terrapin, future Maryland Terrapin, with 1 out on the board. The first pitch to Soroy is above the plate, above the zone for ball 1. In the last inning, the Sox made it through almost all of the order, just missing out on Perry Hargett. But Soroy was one of the few batters that made it to base via the walk, as he foul tips that one back behind the plate for a 1-1 count.
Sox are going to need him to get on base any way he can here. They'd even take a error like he had back in the first.
The 1-0 to Soroy. He swings and chops that one right into the glove of Clark, who dumps it off to Campbell for the 2nd out in as many batters.
Yeah, 1-3 putouts on back-to-back plays.
Now batting the
See if
shortstop
Preston
from
Gamster will make it a
TCU,
trifecta,
Preston
or if he'll
Gamster.
find a way to get himself on base.
Well, look, the moon is out. Not entirely sure where it is, but the moon is out. Will the Moon Man come out to play? With 2 outs on the board. The first pitch to Gamster. He pops that one up way in the air. Campbell streaking over to the dugout, but a catch is made by Wyatt Campbell. All right, not Wyatt Campbell, number 17, Perry Hargett, in the Tom Sox dugout with the bare hands. Impressive from the Tar Heel. So that doesn't count for anything. Just a strike. And Gamster steps back up to the batter's box with the count at 0-1. Clark will deal. And Gamster watches that one sail right down the middle for strike 2.
It's a tough one to take there, Len, and that was a pitch that might be hittable for a guy like Gamster, and you just watched it go by.
Got to think it's time to be aggressive for these Sox. The 0-2 to Gamster. He swings and misses. And that will retire the Sox 1-2-3 as we head into the top of the 8th. Charlottesville still trailing 8-3 to the Staunton Braves. Well, history is certainly not on the Tom Sox side. In losses this season, they average 8.5 walks per game. In wins, they average 5.5 walks per game. And we are currently sat at 13 walks, the third most ever in team history, as Ian White deals the first pitch. And that one is going to be caught by Williams over at first base. So a good start here to the top of the 8th after I kind of put a downing fact on the broadcast. It doesn't mean that the game is all lost. The Sox will have 2 more chances to cut the lead back, and it can be done. Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened, but it's going to be a tough challenge, I think, to say the least. For the Sox are going to need White to really bunker down here.
So Jacob Lester was just retired after he flew out. Took Williams. That brings up Joey Little, who watches that one sail for a ball. The second pitch to him, also a ball just a bit outside from Ian White. The quicker work made, the better chance the Sox have to try and make a comeback here late in this game. The 2-0. Down low for ball 3. Ian White, not the most consistent outing so far, looking to get into a groove. The 3-0 pitch, just a bit inside there, and that will walk Jacob Lester. Joey Little, my apologies.
So now that ties the second all-time walks in a game record from July 7th of last season at Staunton. So the Braves, back-to-back years, know how to work counts and find their way on.
White deals to Ryan Fluharty now. That one outside for another ball. White trying to stay on the right side of history. The 1-0. Outside again. Ball 2. Just has not been the Sox night on either side of the ball. They had the one good inning in the bottom of the 6th that saw them draw in 3 runs. The 2-0. That one finds the zone. Ian White gets on the board. Count moves to 2-1. Fluharty's been walked 3 times already tonight. As Little goes to second, and the tag is made. Good play there, heads-up play from Ian White, able to get it over to Jackson Soroy. And an easy tag-up made on Joey Little. 2 outs on the board now, and a little more confidence into the glove of Ian White as he's 2 strikes away from retiring the side in order. The 2-1. Another strike. Count evens at 2 apiece. Ian White has something brewing here on the mound. He will deal to try and get the Sox out of this inning. And he does just that. Ian White downs the Braves in order, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. The score remains 8-3 in favor of the Braves. Up next for the Tom Sox, the meat and potatoes of the order as far as tonight goes, with Patrick Nias leading off the bottom of the 8th, followed by Hudson Luderman and Elijah Williams, who have provided the hits that the Tom Sox have so rarely found tonight. Brady Clark still on the mound for the Braves. He will deal to Nias. High for ball 1. The thing that has worked for the Tom Sox has been able to either work balls early on in the innings before an out can come and taking advantage of the offense. Second pitch is another ball just a bit inside on the curveball.
Braves really confident in Clark here. Nobody getting loose as just a backup plan. They might let him try to ride out the rest of this ball game.
Count moves to 2-0. Clark against Nias. Nias swings and chops that one above the fence and back foul. 2-1. With Luderman on deck, Nias will really be looking to get on base here. A couple of RBI machines up after him. The 2-1 to Nias. Swing and a miss. He tried to take a chunk out of that one. Failed to do so, and count evens at 2 apiece. Clark has battled back after being down 2-0 in this count. The pitch. Can't locate the zone, and the count will be full.
Personally, I think if you're Nias, you just got to protect here. Try to fight off, find any way to get on base. You can take anything, a walk, hit by pitch, or a hit. Just any way to get on base.
The payoff pitch from Clark. Nias swing and a miss. His third strikeout of the night.
Now batting, the third baseman.
0-4 on the day.
Hudson Luderman.
Brings up the Hokie, Hudson Luderman, as he will try to spark a comeback late here in Charlottesville. This game is getting eerily close to the 3-hour mark. The first pitch to Luderman. He swings and drives that one way up in the air, but way foul.
Again, you got to be wary of the windows of Charlottesville High School when Hudson Luderman's at bat. Man, does he open up early and really let loose on a baseball like that.
The 0-1 to Hudson. He swings and drives that one down the third base line, but it will go foul. And now 2 strikes are on the board for Hudson Luderman. It really is getting in the crunch time here for the Tom Sox. They have got to get something going. Luderman has made contact on his first 2 swings in this at-bat, both of them going foul. Will the third time be the charm this time around? As he was put out at first, flown out to first, and had a single in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-2 to Hudson. Swing and a miss. Brady Clark gets yet another strikeout.
Now batting, the first baseman,
his second of the inning.
And after the early flurry the Tom Sox had against Clark, there hasn't been nearly as much success, and Clark has really hunkered down on the mound, and they set the Sox down.
Well, now the biggest bat of the night, Elijah Williams, steps up to the plate with the unorthodox stance. 2 outs on the board. Williams swings on the first one and misses for strike 1. Sox would really love to see something here. The 0-1. Williams gets hit by the pitch, and finally the Sox have life here in the bottom of the 8th. And that will bring up Brock Clayton.
Catcher from Gulf Breeze, Florida, Brock Clayton.
Clayton has just missed a home run a few times. There'd be no moment better for a homer than right now. try and get anything going the Sox way.
Any run here in the bottom of the 8th would provide a confidence boost going into the 9th as Clayton lines that one to Lester, who dumps it over to Ingram, and that will end the inning. The Sox will have one more chance to come back in this game, but it'll have to be after defense in the top of the 9th.
For the Sox in the bottom.
We swag surf our way into the top of the 9th. Just one change here for the Tom Sox. Lee Sowers steps in to the shortstop position, taking out Preston Gamster
Now batting.
as
The shortstop,
we
Jackson.
head in to the final inning of play here at CHO Airport Field. Staunton still leading the Sox 8-3.
I think the move with Sowers is just for the pure intention of if Clark continues to work, you get a lefty in instead of the righty Gamster.
White deals, and his first pitch is a ball just a bit low, below the zone. Trying to avoid the all-time record of team walks in a game. Currently at 14. The 1-0 finds the zone for strike one. Ian White beginning to pick up speed, dealing a little better now. He looks more confident out there, and they need some confidence in this last inning if the offense is going to want to make a bid. White pitches a foul. 1-2 now the count. Jackson Ingram up to bat here for the Braves. The 1-2. Down low for ball 2. Ingram struck out looking in his last at bat. Has been walked twice. That pitch is also into the dirt for ball 3. Count is now full. The payoff pitch coming up soon from Ian White, looking to retire the first batter. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Ingram will sulk his way back to the dugout as White gets the first out on the board. A fiery strikeout to begin the 9th.
Yeah, White up the velocity there. Got Ingram searching for the fastball and made him search just too high above the zone for him to make contact, set him down with the punch out, and a good job by White there.
The first pitch coming up to Ty Galuski. With one out on the board, White sails that one wide for ball 1. Now, I'm looking at my book here. In the first inning, the second inning, the third inning, the 5th inning, and a couple other innings. The 7th inning as well. The Sox started out by walking the Braves batters. This is one of the few innings where they haven't, and in those innings it's gone pretty well for the Sox. 1-1 now the count here. White dealing to Galuski. That one finds the zone for strike 2. White really picking up confidence now. 1 strike away from retiring Galuski before the big bat of Urbaniak comes up. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. 2 for 2 now for Ian White, as Cooper McDaniel will be pinch hitting for Mikey Urbaniak in the bottom of this order.
Yeah,
as we officially reach the 3-hour mark.
Ian White has been nothing short of phenomenal in relief for the Sox. It's just a shame that this effort might not end up in a victory for him, but gave the Sox something to think about for the future with how he's pitched so far.
Well, he's certainly doing his part now. That one again finds the zone. He's retired the last 2 via strikeout, looking to make it a perfect 3 for 3 in the top of the 9th. The 0-1. McDaniel swings. He goes a full cycle for an 0-2 count. Ian White putting on a show here in the top of the 9th. The 0-2. That one a bit outside for ball 1. Can't throw a strike every time, but boy, is Ian White dealing right now. The 1-2 from White. Swing and a miss. White goes 3 for 3, and the Sox will have one more chance at redemption as they are still down 8-3 as we head in to the final half inning of action here at CHO Airport Field. We have reached the pinnacle of action here, and up to bat is Evan Taveras, looking to jumpstart a 9th inning comeback for the Tom Sox.
Well, yeah, Taveras could get himself right in a big way here with the base hit and just trying to keep this game alive. If you can get on any way possible, that would be a big help to the Sox.
The first pitch to Taveras. Can't find the zone for ball 1. Count moves to 1-0. Clark still dealing there for the Braves. The 1-0. Taveras swings and drives that one into center field. Coming to get it is Little, and he dives and makes the catch. Wow, the Braves have just been creating some eye-boggling plays out there in the outfield. I believe that's 3 diving catches now for the Braves and multiple for Joey Little.
I mean, it feels like we're playing an infield consisting of Ozzie Smith, Andrelton Simmons, Brandon Phillips, and, I don't know, Bryce Harper at first base. And in the outfield, you have, like, Kevin Kiermaier. I mean, it is absurd.
Brings up Kyle Langley with 1 out on the board. He swings and drives that one foul. Not before a catch is made by Ryan Flaherty. My goodness. In the span of just a minute 30, the Sox are already down to their last out. And that brings up Walker Buchanan. The Braves 1 out away from keeping their second place spot in the South Division and picking up an 8-3 win. The first pitch to Walker, right down the middle for strike one. A beautiful breaking ball there from Brady Clark. He's been dealing quite well. The 0-1 in the zone again for strike two. Down to their last out, their last strike. Walker Buchanan at the plate. Clark will deal. Just a bit outside there for ball one. Buchanan stays alive. One thing that the Braves have done much, much better than the Tom Sox's pitching. They've used only 2 pitchers compared to the Sox, I believe 5 on the day. The 1-2. Down low for ball 2. Count evens at 2 apiece. Buchanan looking to keep the Sox alive here. The 2-2. Buchanan foul tips that one behind him. He's on a journey, staying alive. Count stays at 2 apiece with 2 outs on the board. The Sox trail by 5. The light of the comeback is thinning as Clark will deal. And he hits Buchanan square on the back. The Sox are on base and they stay alive. And it brings up Jackson Soroy.
Now batting the second baseman from Leesburg, Virginia,
Listen,
Jackson Soroy.
I'm saying there's a chance, okay? Got a runner on, find some momentum, keep it rolling, take the lead and win this ball game.
The first pitch to Soroy is high, and that will go down as a ball. He's got a chance. He hasn't had a hit yet today, but he's reached twice, one on an error in the first, the second on walks in the 6th. But he's due for a hit. Law of large numbers states that the more sample size you have, as the 1-0 is dealt into the ground, the more sample size that you have, the more accurate you're going to get to your averages. And Jackson Soroy is certainly reaching that point. The 2-0 to Soroy. That one down into the dirt. Buchanan is going to go to second. The Sox have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs on the board. Jackson Soroy still on the bag at home plate. The count has now moved to 3-0. And he is in a very, very favorable position. This is a perfect place to start playing your small ball style of play.
Yeah, and it would take a miracle, but hey, if you can get some runs across and make this a game, you never know.
That one just above the zone, and Soroy now walks his way to first. It'll bring up the double king, my apologies, the double king, Lee Sowers. A man who, before he hadn't had a hit for the Tom Sox and then rattled off 2 doubles. Sowers with a runner on second, runner on first. 2 outs on the board. That one goes high for ball 1, and Clark is still out there on the mound.
Yeah, there's an emergency man getting loose for the Braves. We'll get the name of that when we can.
Are the Sox primed for a 2-out rally? Lee Sowers watches that one sail wide for ball 2.
Wouldn't surprise me, as you mentioned earlier, anything can happen, Landon.
Next pitch to Sowers. Low and into the ground for ball 3. 1 ball away from chalking the bases full. That one low and into the ground, and the Sox have walked the bases loaded here with Patrick Nias up to bat, and the only player on the Sox this season to log a grand slam, and he's in perfect position to do so again. But I would rather see a line drive into center, right, or left just to drag in a few runs and give Hudson Luderman a chance to.
Ismael Barrero getting loose for the Braves out there as an emergency roll.
That pitch is high and sails for ball 1.
Galuski's going to have a chat with him, and
so will his coach.
That may be the end of it. They might call in Ismael Barrero just to be safe. You don't want to lose one to any of these next 3 hitters, whether it be Nias, Luderman, or Williams. All guys who could, or I should say, have light tower power in this lineup that could put one out and make this a real interesting game at a moment's notice.
Yeah, and if you're a batter, either Nias, Luderman, or Williams, you know you have nothing to lose. You just gotta be aggressive, try and line one out, ground it so that you can get some runs home. Well, Clark is going to stay out there on the field. With the count at 1-0, with 2 outs on the board, the Sox have loaded the bases with 3 straight walks. The 1-0 to Nias. Down and into the dirt. Here comes Soroy, and he is going to score. The lead is cut to 4. Walker Buchanan scores. My apologies. The UVA helmet made me believe that it was Jackson Soroy, but he now moves to third. Sowers moves over to second, and first base is open. The 2-out rally is alive and well. 2 balls. No strikes. Nias watches that one sail over the strike zone for ball 3. Yet again, 1 ball away from loading the bases. Clark will deal. The 3-0. Nias started walking over to first. That one looked to be outside, but instead was called a strike by our home plate umpire, Derek Toff.
Yeah, close pitch. I don't blame Nias for walking, but I don't blame Clark and Galuski for staying with it.
The 3-1, still a hitter's count. That one sails way above, chalking the bases full again. And guess what, folks? The tying run is at home plate.
And, well, Luderman's not even going to step to the box. He knows that Clark's outing is over.
He will imminently be at home plate. As the score is 8-4, the Tom Sox have loaded the bases here with 2 outs on the board. They didn't have anybody on base until 2 outs had come. And then 3 straight walks by with Buchanan, Soroy, and Sowers getting on. Buchanan able to score on a pass ball, and now Nias finds himself at first base via a walk. So Ismael Barrero will check into the game. A man out of Mercer University is looking to complete the 1-out save.
It's going to be the hardest out of his career, I'll tell you that much, Landon, because you have 2 guys who've hit the ball consistently hard today in Hudson Luderman and Elijah Williams. And I just want to propose a hypothetical here. I'm going to knock on wood so I don't really jinx anything, but in his first game as a Tom Sock, Elijah Williams is the winning run if he gets to the plate. Just a hypothetical.
What
not going to suggest anything.
Right?
I'm not going to suggest anything as to spoil it. I've knocked on this wooden table in front of us. But
so have I.
It would be electric, and he's hit the ball incredibly hard today. I think he stands a very good chance to at least tie this game up where he get an at-bat.
Well, while we let Ismael Barrero warm up, let's take a look at the Sox upcoming schedule for the week. On Saturday, they host Harrisonburg. Then they host Winchester the next day. Then they have a 2-game road trip at Purcellville and at Waynesboro before they're back home against Culpeper. 6 of the Sox' next 10 games are here at CHO Airport Field. Less travel is definitely helpful for a team that is trying to fight their way into second place. But a lot of, actually, now that I look at it, just 2 teams from the South Division, and Culpeper and Harrisonburg, and the 4 others are from the North Division.
Well, you get to enjoy some home cooking for the next 6 out of 10 games. You get to enjoy the beautiful pregame meals provided by the sponsors in the concession stand here at CHO Airport Field. Today was a grilled cheese and bacon, which is an elite pregame meal that doesn't touch dino nuggets and mac and cheese, but
the pregame meals that are made behind the concessions, my goodness, concession shack here at CHO Airport Field are quite immaculate, and it's one of my favorite parts of the day, minus calling this game with you, Luke. This is
appreciate that, Landon.
Despite the deficit that the Sox are in, it's been a fun game to call, and it's lasted well over 3 hours now, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it were to last longer than that, as the tying run has officially stepped up to the batter's box. Hudson Luderman represents it. He'll be looking to drive some runs home here.
Number 19, Hudson Luderman.
Well, there's certainly an energy to the ballpark that there wasn't a few batters ago. Everybody certainly more attentive to the game. And typically we hear the Saxon Roberts yell from the dugout, and here we go.
The first pitch to Luderman from Barrero. Down and into the dirt for ball 1. We've got life outside. We've got life in the press box. It was dead silent in here about 30 minutes ago. But now you can kind of feel a bit of anticipation that something's going to happen here in Charlottesville. The 1-0 to Luderman. He swings and chops that one foul. 1-1. That's the first swing I've seen out of a Tom Sock in about 3 batters.
And you also heard a gasp of, I guess you could call it sadness and hope that one would go foul from the press box. So Luderman stays alive in a solid hack. All you need is solid contact. Keep the line moving.
The 1-1 to Hudson. Right down the middle for strike 2, and the Sox are down to their last strike here.
You got to protect if you're Luderman here. Give the guys behind you a chance. Keep yourself alive and keep fighting.
The 1-2 to Hudson Luderman from Ismael Barrero. Swing and a miss, and that ends the game. The Staunton Braves take it 8-4 despite the Sox' violent comeback, or violent attempt at a comeback, here in the bottom of the 9th.
Tonight's final score, the Staunton Braves.
And I mean, the story of the game was the Sox pitching staff falling back to old habits. You know, they say old habits die hard. They didn't die hard today. The Sox pitching staff accumulating 14 walks, tied for the second most in program history. And it really started all with Tim Lawson, who walked 6. That was not the ideal start for Tim Lawson. That actually places him tied for second in team history in a singular game with 6 walks as a whole. And the offense tried to get it going late, but they weren't as effective as they were in other days, and they couldn't make up for what the pitching staff put out there on the field.
Well, the Tom Sox fall below 500 yet again. They're now 12-13 on the season, but they are far from out of the top 2 race in the South Division. And although they fell today, they have another chance at a divisional opponent on Saturday against Harrisonburg. We will see you there from our YouTube live stream. Be sure to tune in on Saturday. Thank you for listening, folks. This has been all from Landon Weaver and Luke Stefanisco on the Tom Sox Baseball Network. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on Saturday.